So, Alfredo, would you rather get your foot shot or your hand shot?
Um, that's a hard one. Maybe my foot. But when's the last time you shoved a banana up your ass? Welcome once more, listeners, to this cinema forecast. It is I, Alfredo, along with my co-host.
That's me. Hello.
It's Connor, my guy Connor. Here we are. We are two friends who every month are assigned a category, and attached to the category, we got 4 movies. Each week, we go in depth talking about one of the movies in the context of the category. The category for this month, for the month of January 2026, which is, by just for the record, if you're listening to this in the future, an insane month.
Wow. Crazy year so far.
Crazy year. The category, though, is
Coming of age.
Coming of Age. The film that we're watching today is,
City of God.
or as it is known in Portuguese, Cidade de Deus. Set in
Wild
Brazil.
language, Portuguese.
Yeah, Portuguese, very very wild. Also, like this is Brazilian Portuguese, and it's like Portuguese from Rio de Janeiro, and they have a specific way of speaking as well.
And a lot of these actors are just like from
Yeah, I think a lot of them are
streets.
from Rio de, like from the actual
from the City of God.
Very very sick, very cool movie. Love this movie.
Yeah.
We usually
Awesome
like to
movie.
talk up top about our first experiences with the film. I guess I'll go first. I love this movie. I watched it at some point in my 20s, and I fucking loved it immediately. I loved it so much that I think I watched it a couple more times that same week. Like,
Nice.
I asked my sister if she had seen it, and then like we watched it together. But yeah, I remember being so struck by how beautiful it is and how violent it is all together.
Yeah.
And how
It's brutal.
it isn't just your typical like gangster crime story. There's a lot more to it. I think it is that whole
Yeah.
coming of age angle
Yeah.
that is part of it, and how it is our main character, this sort of like journey to become like a journalist. I don't know, and like the whole vibes, like it's also like kind of like this 70s movie as well, you know.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
get
a lot of like really psychedelic camera choices, or like the way it cuts between scenes, and just a
we
lot
got
of really
split screen stuff.
creative top-down shots of like just
Yeah.
super artsy with a million things going on. I mean, there's
Yeah,
so many
absolutely.
characters. This is a
Super-
hard movie to
super
take notes
chaotic.
for, because just like so many scenes, so many characters in Portuguese. Like I had to stop and rewind so many times.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's
Oh,
like
it's amazing.
it's chock
It's
full of a lot of
amazing, yeah.
stuff, and then along with the cinematography as well, just the way that things are shot, but also just how they look. There's such beauty, like it's this raw
Yeah.
beauty that is like given to like a lot of the shots of the favela that I think give it, that feels so stylish. Like
Yeah.
it's really cool.
It swaps between a bunch of different like filters over it as well. You know what I'm talking about? Like sometimes it's like darker, sometimes it's like a more yellow, and then like, man, when every time they're on the beach and it's just like the cliff and the sky in the background and the setting sun, just like why does it look so good?
Yeah, I think it's just the times of day that they're filming, and like just like getting a lot of sunlight
Yeah.
into like this like film. I wonder what the specific choices for film stock for this were. I would be surprised if they were using multiple film stocks, just because that seems kind of cost prohibitive. But maybe they were. I do think it's just like the like times of day, and like just the actual quality of like the colors like present like in front of them there.
Yeah, super vibrant movie, super wild movie, so many twists and turns.
So what was your first time watching this movie?
Oh yeah, totally forgot. So I watched this around the same time. I think I mentioned I watched Mulholland Drive, where I was just looking up like what are the Netflix was relatively new, didn't even have like the online app yet. I was just like ordering DVDs from them, and I looked up like what are the best movies to get on Netflix right now, and I think Mulholland Drive and City of God were some of the ones that came up, and yeah, I just went through watching a bunch of movies, and yeah, I loved it. It was definitely overwhelming. Like I think it really benefited from sitting down and like taking note of all the characters because I could keep track of what their arcs were by the end. I think the first time I watched it, I was confused who was who all the time because there's just so many moving pieces.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess it was looks like it was shot on 16 millimeter. Some of it was shot on 16 millimeter. Some of it was shot on 35.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then it looks like then the print was all in 35 though. So you get some of like the blown up parts of the 16 millimeter that where you're gonna be able to see a lot more of like the grain versus some of the other scenes where you're gonna be seeing like it's gonna be much finer sort of grain.
Right. There was one time, or maybe it happens a couple times, where it does kind of like a slow frame rate, like spin around with the camera that I really didn't like. You know what I'm talking about?
I know the one where he has like his foot on his head.
Yeah.
And it does kind of like the 28 years later sort of thing where like the camera like moves like in the middle of like the scene.
Yeah, it happens a couple times. I remember it happens in the intro, like right before it goes to the full, like here's the whole story of the city of God, and it's just like
Like
spinning
it like
around
orbits
him,
around
and it's
him.
just like such low frame rate that it just like made me want to hurl a little.
That's funny. I did these ones I did not notice at all.
Interesting.
And usually I'm the one who's shitting on that.
Yeah, it was a little rough sometimes, but besides that, I love the way this movie looks, and I love the themes of this movie, Alfredo.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you like to go first this time?
Sure. For themes, coming of age, we got nostalgia, loss of innocence, macabre curiosities, metamorphosis, peer pressure, and struggle of morality.
For sure. All of those definitely coming into play heavily, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, macabre curiosities, little dice. What the fuck's wrong with little dice, dude? How do you become so? I guess you kind of see how you can become so cold, but it's just like right from the jump, man. As soon as he's handed a gun, oh
Yeah,
my god.
actually speaking of how this happens, I think that one of the things that my themes that I've set up beforehand, we've got community, we've got maturity, fatalism, trauma, and nostalgia. For that sort of how does this happen? In fatalism, I talked about the cycle of violence. You know, Goose picks on Zay, and then Zay picks on the runts, right? And then you see how they're each ended by their own hand in this way, right? They have a hand in perpetuating the violence that they become the victim to.
Multiple times I was thinking of the evil destroys itself thing from Lord of the Rings because just they kept just overplaying their hand, dude. Get just like you could have so easily avoided.
Yeah, with the
these
power, there's this
circumstances.
confidence, right?
Yeah.
I also thought that there's a very clear thing about the favela feeling inescapable, right? Buscape wants to get out.
Yeah.
He wants to become like a reporter.
Yeah.
Along with that, I also felt like the corruption of the police helps like solidify the feeling of inescapable, like the
Yeah.
fatalism.
Yeah, I
And
was
then-
thinking about it, like how few characters actually just like get out. Like Angelica is one who comes to mind. She just kind of like seems to get out of this situation and disappear, or at least you assume so because she drops out of the movie.
Well,
But-
she doesn't live in the favela.
Oh, she doesn't?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no. She's like Buscape's friend from outside the favela, and that's why
Gotcha.
he like in the scene he's like, these guys are cool, and she's like, I'm chill. She's
Right,
like,
that's why
"I'm
he has the
Quila," you
hookup
know?
and she doesn't. Got it.
Yeah, for sure. That's why he has such an easy time because he knows all these guys.
And so I know, sorry, okay, actually, I'll let you finish the themes, then I'll get into something else.
Yeah, so with the fatalism as well, I think the whole feeling powerless thing can like lead people to seek out power and control, like
Yeah.
we see in Dadinho into his like transformation into Zé Pequeno. Along with that, I think we see and feeding into that like trauma. There is talk of rape. There is a rape in the film. So
Yeah, I'd forgotten that. That was brutal.
yeah. So content warning, just up front there. We also have death of loved ones, and growing up in poverty also felt like it fed into that. With the maturity thing, we're talking about losing your virginity again.
Yeah, it's so funny that that's like his main goal. Like, I don't know how many of our audience has ever seen Chainsaw Man, but that's also like his main goal in that, and I just think it's fucking hilarious.
Well, it's also like think about all the movies we've seen. The only one where it's not his main goal is basically like Stand By Me, kind of. Like, I mean, it's not like Charlie wants to like fuck. He just wants to like
Intimacy.
he wants Sam, right?
Yeah.
But there is this like. But he's never kissed a girl.
Yeah, you're right. Boys in the Hood there. Totally. That's his main goal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, wow.
Absolutely.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's good. It's a funny thing to notice. And again, doing drugs. And I kind of love how they have this sort of like duality of the innocence of smoking pot and how it feels like such a teenage, like, let's just go smoke weed on the beach, skip class, and like kiss and fall in love. And it's so cute. And then it's like, you have like Tiago and like other people like doing coke and obviously like getting violent or like, needing it and stuff like that.
Really, Rocket's story is so much more peaceful than everything else. Like, he manages to kind of just stay on the periphery of everything happening, and it makes the movie have a really interesting structure where the main character is kind of in the background for the majority, I would say.
He's like an observer. It's very cool.
Yeah.
I dig it. It is a story about several people all at once, right? It's a story about a community.
Yeah, based on a book.
Based on a book. It's a story about a community, which feeds into my other theme here.
Right.
Community. Where last time we talked about friendship and a sense of belonging, and at first I was like, is this valid again? Absolutely. It's valid, dude. Like, I think about the subcultures. You don't just have the groovies. You have like the soul crowd, right? Yeah. Who I think they call, like, they say the word in English like black. I think when they're talking, I don't know what the name of the subculture was, but then like you even have like, Ze and Benez, like friendship through like crime and shit. You have the tender trio as well, which all of these different ways of finding community. And within that, the tolerance, there's not a whole bunch of in-your-face racism. There's a little bit, but there's definitely a lot of classism throughout this movie. Yeah. And then the last one, nostalgia, it's set in the 60s and 70s, and it's just got that vibe. And it kind of just evokes nostalgia, just I think by taking that setting 20 years later, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
absolutely. And loss of innocence, I think we've talked about a lot this month. And I feel like, well, we talked about in Boys in the Hood how it's almost like trying to reclaim your innocence given your upbringing, or going further down that path of crime and, doing what you feel you need to do to survive, basically.
Yeah, and we definitely see that again here.
Yeah, and I would say even more so. Like, one of the things really disturbing about this movie is it just feels like life feels so cheap on these streets. Like, it's just come and go.
Yeah, I mean, you see a child die, right?
Yeah, I mean, so many people, and it's like such little things that they die for so often. It's really tragic. It's horrible. And so the author of this book grew up in this neighborhood, and it's loosely based on his life.
The City of God is a favela within Rio de Janeiro.
Love it.
His name is Paulo Lins.
Yeah, and so it's like loosely based on the real events that happened. There's some fictional. I ended up going down a little rabbit hole after the movie.
There's the actual interview footage of Mané Galinha at the end.
Yeah, and I love that. But there's characters like Benny.
They show the real picture of Benny and the real picture of
I don't think there was a real Benny. I was trying to look into him.
They show the pictures of who they're based off of, at least. Like,
so from what I read about Benny is that he's more of a representation of this transition between like the gangster cool vibes into like war and the violence. So when he dies, that's kind of like
the death of that.
Yeah, interesting stuff.
Very interesting. It is the screenplay was written by Braulio Mantovani and the directors, it's co-directed by two people. You have Katia Lund and you have Fernando Meireles. The cinematographer on this one, we got Cesar Charlone, I believe is how you would pronounce that. I'm not sure. And then on the music, as we like to say, I don't know if I have that here.
Solid score. I do know.
Here we go. Composers, we've got Ed Cortez and Antonio Pinto.
I know Knockout Ned, that actor, is also a musician.
Seu Jorge. This is our second film with Seu Jorge in it.
Oh, was it Life Aquatic?
Yep.
That's right. Oh my gosh. I love that. He's great.
Yeah, he's great. He is great. So let's get into it, Let's talk about the film City of God.
Wild
2002. Movie. I'll say it up front, dude. 2002 masterpiece of cinema. I
Yeah,
love this movie.
I think it's pretty amazing.
I'll
Yeah.
put the cart before the horse. I won't say it right now, but I'll put it before the horse. I love the way it starts too is great. The way that we hear the audio slowly in the background, sort of fading in, and
It's chaotic. Like so much of the story, there's so much,
yeah,
and it's trying to show you the culture so much, and just like really immersive right off the jump. I'd say it's immersive while being tense
right.
because it's cutting between so much, and there's this emphasis on
The
the
first visual
chicken
we see, though,
sharpening a blade.
no, the first visual we see
Is it not?
is Buscapé taking a picture of us. Buscapé, who in
Oh.
English they call Rocket, he takes a picture of us
That's
and it
right.
turns into the title of the movie.
That's right.
And then, yes, the sharpening of the knife. And I thought this was so appropriate because we're about to jump into so much fucking violence. It is kind of like gird your loins, sharpen your blades for the war ahead, right?
Well, there's some really subtle visual storytelling here with the chickens they keep showing. It's all this celebration and all this like party, and then it's like them defeathering the chickens, and there's this, sharpening the blade and this sense of violence that's hanging over everything. And then it ends with a bloody plate with just like feathers by it. Like it's definitely telling you what this story is about in a very subtle, clever way.
Yeah, I mean, the word for chicken or hen in Portuguese is galinha, and Knockout Ned's name is Mané Galinha.
Yeah,
because his name is Manuel, so his name is like basically like Manny Chicken.
Yeah, Chicken Manny is what I was reading, but they changed it for the movie because chicken is like considered cowardly in
Right.
the U.S.
Right,
and,
right.
and they're like, that's not the vibe we're going for. So he's Knockout Ned because he's a babe.
Yeah, no, Knockout Ned is cool. I do like Mané Galinha. I mean, everything in Portuguese sounds way fucking cooler than
Yeah.
it does in English to
Wild
me.
language.
Well, I mean, it's not wild. It's much.
I mean, it's just so
it's
unique.
definitely domesticated.
So unique sounding to me.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, there's all these great like process shots of the chicken as we're talking about. We're also seeing them making the most famous drink from Brazil, which would be the caipirinha, which is
okay.
the muddle lime and cachaça, which is like a sugarcane distillate,
Nice.
and a little bit of sugar. It's a great drink.
Yeah,
Like one of
it
those
was making me
perfect drinks.
thirsty. Making me thirsty now just thinking about it. baby.
They look like they're having a great time.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I was saying, it's this great mixture between this kind of tense vibe that something's like there's something hanging over this
Yeah.
fun, and
And then
I
one of
love
the chicken
that.
escapes.
Yeah. And you got to get that chicken.
Go after that
Just
chicken.
all these kids with these fucking guns chasing a chicken.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh my god. Okay, so I also read that the real life version of Carrot was one of the few like survivors of this whole gang war, and he wrote a memoir in I believe 2017 or something, and he was saying that, or this is what he was saying. He's like, we didn't use kids. That's what he was saying. So there's little interesting things like that. But then probably be other people that refute.
Yeah, for sure. And perhaps it's like a matter of like perception, like when you're like the older, I don't know, whatever, however old you are, maybe you're seeing these kids and you're like, this kid's like 5 years old and he's like 12 or who knows, right?
Yeah.
But that's a very interesting thing to say.
Yeah, because that's a big part of the movie.
Oh, that's what
is
part of
these,
what
like,
makes it so
It's all these
horrendous.
hardened little child soldiers. It's just terrible to see.
Yeah, I mean, like, the whole thing with Caixa Baixa, which is the fucking the runts.
Oh,
who-
yeah, the
actually
runts,
the
yeah.
name Caixa, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it means like low or short box. But that's also how they refer to lowercase letters in Portuguese.
Interesting.
So their name is literally they're like the lower cases.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting that they decided to translate it as runts, but maybe it just I don't know.
Yeah, it was a hard one to translate.
I don't know. I feel like lowercase kids or something like that. I don't know. It's kind of funny.
I think it's funny. I don't know if most people would get it. They'd be like,
Well, they're just like
lowercase.
because they're lowercase.
I mean, it makes sense to me,
I mean, I
yeah.
feel like it's pretty big. Like when you look at the capital letter, that's an adult. When you look at the lowercase letter, that's a kid, right? Anyway, tell him to chase the chicken. You see, Buscapé talking to his friend, who in English is called Stringy, and then in Portuguese Barbantinho, which means like little string, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's talking about if he can get a good picture, he can sell it to the newspaper. And he asks him, "You'd risk your life for a picture?" Which is kind of like the question that becomes posed for like the latter half of like the movie, right?
Right.
But yeah, then you see fucking Zay and his fucking crew running after the chicken. Um, they all pull out their fucking guns, trying to like shoot at the chicken too.
Yeah,
Um,
they're trying to shoot that boy.
yeah,
It's wild. And
and this is where we first hear the thing too, like where Stringy says, "If Zay finds you, dude, he'll fucking kill you, man."
yeah, and he's like, if he finds me, and then he
yeah.
just like walks around the corner.
Literally showing up
Yeah.
around the corner. And I love the recontextualization we get of this later on. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
he's not even mad. He doesn't care. He actually loves this guy. He's
Yeah,
like,
he's
"You're making me
stoked.
famous."
I mean,
you
the
know?
next thing he's like, Rocket, take a picture.
Yeah,
of us.
take a picture of us, bro. And then he tells him to pick up the chicken.
Wild
You
guy.
see the cops arrive. Standoff ensues, and then we flash back to the 60s.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
see our friend Buscape, aka Rocket. He's standing as goalie as someone takes a penalty kick and the ball goes in.
Yeah, we also get that line when he's stuck on the street between the cops and the gang where he's like, stay or yeah, this is paraphrasing, but something like stay or go and they get you either way. And I thought so I was kind of looking for that kind of concept throughout the movie.
Yeah, if you go, the beast will catch you. If you stay, the beast will eat you.
Yeah.
It's I think one of the taglines for the movie as well.
Nice.
So
yeah, we get introduced to the
the
Tender
Tender
Trio.
O Trio Ternura.
Yeah, very cool. It's just such a unique structure for a narrative where you're just getting all the like these little glimpses of everyone, and I love him setting up like if I'm going to tell you the City of God,
You got to know about the Tender Trio.
well, you got to know about Shaggy, and if
Yeah.
you're going to know about Shaggy, you got to know about the Tender Trio.
And the way he fucking juggles the ball, everyone's like cheering. You immediately know everyone loves this guy. And then he kicks it up, and you see him pull out the gun. You're
Yeah.
like, oh shit, okay, this guy is.
I love the chapter markers
Yeah.
throughout it.
It's really well done.
Yeah.
I love that they used brothers for these roles. That they had the older brother play Shaggy, and then the younger brother plays the older grown-up Bene.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
They do look similar.
they look very
Yeah,
similar.
I was
They look
thinking about
super
that
similar.
they kind of have similar narrative places. They both
Yeah,
try to leave
absolutely.
with their girl. They're a reflection of each
Yeah,
other. Yeah.
Totally, absolutely.
Wild.
Yeah. Some really cool editing throughout this film. I just want to say some really cool uses of like good cinematography plus good editing, like in the split screen stuff we get. Again, the uses of these title cards, it feels very a lot of style, like, but it always feels like it's I like the artsiness of it like makes me think more of it. Like the style isn't me just like, oh look, it's so cool. It really makes me like reflect on like on the film as I'm watching it. Like it provides points of being like, okay, like, this is like you said, him setting up like if I'm gonna tell you the story of the City of God, I gotta tell you about Shaggy. If I tell you about Shaggy, I gotta tell you about the Tender Trio. So we're introduced to the group. We got Goose, Clipper, and Shaggy.
Yeah.
Their names in Portuguese, and I think this is super interesting because I'm like, okay, that's how you translate it, but what do you mean really? So in Portuguese, marreco or marreco, I think is how you'd say it in Portuguese, is goose, but marreco is actually a small duck, or in slang it can mean a hunchback.
Oh,
And then
interesting.
clipper is alicate. Alicate is the same word in Spanish. It refers to pliers or clippers and is a reference to the tools used in theft. And then you have cabeleira. Cabeleira means hair.
Yeah,
So
he
like
has a nice
the
head of hair.
implication is like big hair.
Right.
Or like, so I guess that's why they call him like Shaggy. But it is really more, I think in Portuguese would kind of be like, yeah, the guy's got like a nice head of hair,
And it's just so fun, like it was for when we did Mafia Month. Just all the nicknames.
Great nicknames.
It's
There's a
so
lot of really
fun.
good
And
names.
it makes it, in a movie where you have like 30 to 40 characters, it makes it so much easier to track with these memorable names.
Yeah, the main character's name is Rocket. That's
Yeah.
fucking funny, dude.
Yeah, it's great.
And then we do get the background that they were always followed by Dadinho, or in English, Lil Dice, and then we have Bene, who is Shaggy's younger brother.
Yeah.
And then we also get the background that Goose is Rocket's older brother as well.
Yep. Kind of lost track of what happens to
We s-
Clipper in the story.
He goes to the church, dude. He's protected by God, dude.
That's where it ends with him. He's
Yeah.
okay. I don't remember that part.
Yeah, he makes it out completely unscathed.
Good for him.
Yeah. So we got the gas truck,
Yeah, hijacking.
which I love that that's what happens at the end too.
Oh yeah,
You steal
yeah,
a gas truck.
yeah. That's right. There's a lot of car hijackings throughout the movie. It's really interesting where their whole life, basically from the start, is just about like crime, and it's them like honing their different ways of doing this. And I like the differences between like robbing versus like selling, and like when they choose to do different types of crimes strategically for what their goal is throughout their life.
Yeah.
Fascinating stuff. And tragic. Yeah, and then the cops come. I feel like that's like, 50 times throughout this movie. They're right in the middle doing some crazy stuff, and then the cops show up and pretty easily get away every time. I do love that they like fade into the soccer team. Like, or not a soccer team, but into playing soccer, like just so quickly, like they've done this a million times,
Yeah, it is really, really well done. Also, we do get the thing about, they are amateurs right
Yes.
now, right?
Yep. Which is a good note. They seem pretty competent to me, though. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, they like just like
except
fucking,
Little Dice. Yeah.
I mean, they just run up on the fucking thing. It's funny because he says they have the gift of crime, actually,
Right.
Actually, Zay has more of a vision for crime, than
Yeah, I mean, he's
than the
good at
Tender
what he
Trio.
did until he wasn't, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do love the way they just like play it cool as well. It's really well done, like you said. And then we hear the whole thing about they came to the city of God in hopes of finding paradise.
Yeah.
A line that is like sort of echoed later on, where he says it had become where he says that the city of God is what's the one he says it's like limbo, basically. It's what's that word I'm thinking of? The one
Purgatory.
Purgatory.
Yeah.
And then he says it had become hell, right? Like
Yeah.
so I think it's cool that he says that at this point.
Yeah. Oh, and then just I don't know if we've already said this actually, that basically the whole movie is shot in a neighborhood right next to how do you say it? Favela? Favela? Is that how you say it?
It is the favela.
The favela. But yeah, no, I was reading online that they're just like right next to the really dangerous part. And the director actually said if he knew how dangerous it was going to be to make the movie.
They filmed it next to the favela, you're saying?
Yeah, right next to where all this gang shit apparently is still going on, which is tragic, or at least 20 years ago. But yeah, the director said he wouldn't have done the movie if he knew how dangerous it was going to be.
Which one of the directors?
I don't recall.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. It seems pretty scary. Especially just the way that the characters are written. If you're like, dude, these are the kinds of fucking gangsters I'm gonna be dealing with,
Yeah, like I just feel like it's so much rarer with gang violence in our country to just like kill everyone, just because they're there.
Yeah,
it seems a lot more targeted between the gangs, and it feels a lot more reckless.
I'm not sure. I feel like there were times during like maybe the 80s and 90s where gang activity was a lot crazier. We also don't live in like Chicago, or like Louisiana, like New Orleans, places that have been like, quote unquote murder capitals of the world. We live in Seattle, which I feel like
according to the news, this is like on fire right now.
Sure. But I just mean I don't think that. I think that we're lucky to live somewhere where you're not going to be. I mean, like, if you're paying attention to like national news, like then maybe you'll see. I don't know, but I do think.
I mean, just like looking at statistics of who's usually dying in gang violence, and it's usually like criminals killing other criminals.
Is that true? Is that for real? 100%.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like it's pretty rare for there to be.
I'm sure there are innocent people dying.
Oh, sure.
Also,
yeah, it's
like,
just rare.
but do we have the statistics on innocent people dying in the favelas as well?
No, but I'm just saying in contrast, like it just seems.
Well, it's
like,
just like we have one that's statistic and one that is like anecdotal. So it's like
I'm just talking about in the context of the movie, walking down the street.
It just doesn't feel comparable. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I'm
not a scientist here yet.
Well, I'm like also like, dude, there's places like that in the United States that exist that you don't want to walk through. Like, that would be that scary, I'm sure.
I don't know. I'm just thinking
it's not really getting shot that you're mostly scared of. You're scared of being robbed. like because that's definitely much more possible.
Right. Yeah, I'm just comparing it to something like Boys in the Hood, right, where it's extremely dangerous, but they're usually going to go after each other because of some grudge rather than just
For
you're in
sure.
my way,
Ricky
I'm gonna kill
wasn't
you.
part of a gang.
You know, yeah,
Ricky wasn't part of a gang. You know, he wasn't a criminal.
yeah, yeah.
So he was an innocent guy who died. Regardless, I do like having the background of why the people came to the city of God, right? So we hear that people were left homeless due to flooding and arson in the slums. And I love you see them putting up the electricity as we're hearing them say that they didn't have any electricity, paved streets, or public transportation, kind of showing that idea of like societal neglect to like the lowest rung of society.
Well, near the end of the movie, she's like, he's with what's her name, Marina, or I believe, and she's like, "You've never
had
taken
hot water,
a
yeah.
hot shower before?" And he's like, "No," and I'm like, "Whoa, I didn't realize it was that bad." Like, because they seem like, I don't know, like so many aspects of their life seems like fine.
Yeah,
Right?
for sure. It looks modern. It's got the
Yeah.
modern trappings. They have running water, sure.
Yeah.
They have a kitchen, a heater, a stove, but yeah, no water heater. But anyway, we get that we see Bushkape and Stringy are swimming together, and I this is the moment of like in the childhood where we sort of express the desire, right? He doesn't want to be a fishmonger because that stinks. That's what his dad does, and he doesn't want to be a cop or a hood because he's scared of being shot.
Yeah.
And this is also where we get where Stringy says he wants to be a lifeguard. And later on, we hear when he's an adult, we hear that like his dad is a lifeguard as well, which I think is very cute.
Yeah. And yeah, one of the main differences between this kind of anecdotal story of the author and the real author is instead of like being interested in photography, he was interested in writing, and I think he still got like into that through journalism.
Right. Very cool. Yeah, I had read previously that he was a journalist. I do kind of like the idea of changing it to a photographer
For a
for a
film.
movie. Like
Yeah,
it makes a
that's
lot of
perfect,
sense. I think
yeah.
it works well. Especially like just
I
like
think it's
there's
in the
some
book as well. Like he
there's some
wrote it
cool
as-
shots of like just like the way like he's using the camera and everything. And it just seems much more practical, like the way certain things like play out as well.
Well, yeah, and he like what? How do you make a writer work for you in a gang situation? Like maybe just writing you good
Yeah, write about me.
publicity. Yeah,
Interview me.
Yeah, interview. Yeah, yeah.
So then we see that as they're counting like the money that they have from like the gas heist, right? They're talking about how to make more money, right? And at this point, we see Dadinho, little Dice, fucking pointing the gun at Goose as a joke, and
Wild.
Goose getting mad at him, kind of starting their rivalry off. It seems like he doesn't really respect him, but Shaggy like is kind of like, hey man, like chill, like that's my little brother's friend.
He's so angry. Like little Dice, little Z, just man, like he's just always thinking about it. Like that's like our introduction to him here basically. Is he's just like either thinking about killing one of the people he's with or he's thinking about a plan to become more powerful.
Yeah, no, and it's a good plan. Like, I mean, he does say he's like, because Clipper's like, to make more money, we need to make more money to get out of here. We should rob a rich guy's house, and then Dadinho's like, if you want to get rich, you gotta listen to me. And they laugh at him, and then Shaggy's like, the only one not laughing. He's like, okay, what's your idea? And we see, I love this stuff is great too. Like I love when you like break down a plan and then you go through the plan, classic heist, but also love in this kind of movie where it's not a heist movie. I love the just like, what's your plan? Cut to executing the plan.
Because it's not a complicated plan, so it doesn't really need to be explained.
The Motel Miami is like a love hotel,
Yeah.
places where people are paying by the hour. So they're basically like go in and take the money.
I don't think they knew that it was like a semi brothel though, because when they're in there, they're like, "What is this place?" Like one of them says that when they're in there.
Well, he says, the guy says, "What kind of brothel is this?" He says, "What kind of whorehouse is this?" That's what he says in
Right.
Portuguese.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Um.
So
Yeah.
we have Dadinho trying to take Marreco's gun, right? Goose's gun. And Goose is like, dude, what the fuck are you trying to do? Shaggy gives him a gun, but he tells him to stand guard outside. And you can tell that the Dice Meister is disappointed by this,
Yeah,
So-
and I couldn't remember exactly what was like where he fit into the story, but I already had a bad feeling about this kid,
Oh
like
yeah.
right from the jump. I mean, as soon as you see him pointing the gun at Goose's head, right, it's just like, okay, this kid
Yeah,
is
he's got a sick
unhinged.
sense of humor, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, his whole thing is like shoot the window if the cops come. That's his whole. He's gonna be the lookout. So then the tender trio goes in, they tie up the staff, they start going in the room, start robbing people. I love that you see Clipper lets the priest keep his crucifix. A little bit of foreshadowing there. And then you see the window get shot out, and they all fucking peace out. They can't find Lil Dice.
It's really sad. One of the attendants is like, "You guys are way too young. You don't
Yeah.
look like hoods. Like,
Yeah.
you should just be home studying." And I'm like, "Yeah."
There's one of the
Really
words that they
sad.
use a lot throughout the movie is it's so interesting to me, the choices for like the translation. But they say
For the word hood.
yeah, a lot of the times they say bandido or something like that, which
Like
basically
bandit.
like bandit, right?
Yeah.
Which I think probably just like maybe has a different meaning in like modern Portuguese to maybe mean more like, you know, a thug or some sort of like, you know, hood armed robber or something like
Gangster.
that. Yeah. But I thought that was interesting as well.
Yeah, then we just get a big sequence of a bunch of sex robbery too, which I think is just
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
like everyone's reaction to it. Like,
Yeah.
I love that. Which one is it that like stops and is just kind of like checking it out for a bit?
That's Goose. That's Macheco. Yeah, he's checking it out.
That's really funny. Yeah, and then
But again, I want to point out, Clipper Alicate lets that priest keep his chain.
yeah,
Lets him keep his crucifix.
yeah,
Even though he was fucking at the whorehouse, dude.
yeah. It's good shit.
Good guy, dude.
Yeah,
And then the montage afterwards, after they leave, of all the dead bodies, and I like definitely like
I had forgotten.
after
man.
the first time I saw the movie, I always remember the part before they go in where Shaggy says, he says no killing, no killing.
What a monster. What a little monster. What
Yeah.
the fuck, bro?
I love how long you have to wait to like see it recontextualize again.
Yeah, I think, but like everyone knows that's what happened. Like I think you assume that, right?
Well,
Or do
you play with it for a little bit because you have like I think you play with what is known and not known for the rest of this flashback up
Right.
until Shaggy and Bernice are talking.
Yeah, because
But like even then, like I think you could read his like expression as like his reaction as him being defensive, right?
right. I can't remember who said it, but someone's like, the cops must have killed them all to cover it up.
That's what he says. So
Yeah.
what Bernice says to him later on is
It was Shaggy.
Bernice says to him, they're looking for you for all those all the deaths at the motel, and he goes, "What deaths? We didn't kill anyone. There was probably the cops did it, and then now they're blaming it on me."
Yeah, man.
But it was a fucking little kid, dude.
the way he. So it's one thing that he decides to do this, and it's another thing
Which
how
we get to watch. We get to see
Yeah.
later on.
Yeah, when we do see him do it, just the smile, dude. Like
No, the
how
glee that the
much-
first
Oh my
the
god.
first time
man.
you see him shoot someone on screen, there's so much glee in his face, and it's also used to really good effect because it has, I think, one of the more iconic sort of like shots and transitions in this movie.
Yeah.
But
wow.
we have then we get them driving off and crashing into the fucking. They're back in the city of God. They crash into a bar.
Yeah.
And they run off, but Alicate Clipper twists his fucking ankle. So Goose takes Clipper into the woods while Shaggy says he's gonna go shoot to distract the police.
Which is a good plan.
And then you see Shorty, he gets on the phone once they leave.
And I love they do this at least one more time where Rocket narrating is like, this is Shorty, but it's not time for his story yet.
Yeah,
I just think that's just like such a simple little hook for the
he does the same thing with Ned as well.
Yeah, we talk about the voiceovers a lot and just like the actually little details like that of them intercutting as if they were talking to someone just make it so much more immersive as a like this is a telling like we're telling you a story here.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. I love it. There's again, it also just gives it such a vibe, like
Yeah.
so much style.
Yeah,
You know.
very cool, very well done. And yeah, Shorty's like they're out in the woods. And yeah, just seeing them go through the jungle is kind of epic. A lot of shots of them kind of wandering through here. Oh yeah, and there's that moment with the water droplet where it just like super zooms in, and then it's a bunch of fish, and then the fish like jump out at you in 3D
Yeah,
right through the screen.
it's pretty cool. And
It's
like
just wild. Yeah.
Clipper's having like a vision, you know,
Yeah.
obviously like something's going on with him.
Interesting. Yeah.
And then you see the police officers at the bar. No one's seen anything. And then Shorty tells them that they went into the woods.
Yeah.
And then you have this cop who will come back later on, whose name is Cabezal, which means like big head, but they have his name Melon Head in the movie.
Which one is this cop? I didn't recognize him later.
He's the guy who is the boss of Uncle Sam, the arms dealer.
Oh, the guy who kills the arms dealer?
Yeah, he's his boss. Like,
Okay.
yeah,
Gotcha.
he's the one who's supplying the weapons.
Gotcha.
He's also the one who like takes all the money from like Zay at the very end.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of the third force in this whole gang war
Yeah,
that breaks
absolutely.
out.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, Shaggy.
Yeah, you hear the gunfire from far
Yes,
away,
and they get drawn off.
and they
Which,
get drawn off.
solid plan.
He shows up at Maracana's house.
Yeah, I
And-
love the moment of him looking at her, and it's just like beautiful, like flamenco guitar. Like
Yeah, it's just the like sexy acoustic guitar.
Yeah,
And I love
it.
the way it, like cuts off, like it like almost like
Yeah,
really suddenly.
There's a lot of nice little comedy beats throughout the movie. And sometimes they work like way better than they have any right to work. Like there's a certain moment later we'll get to. I'm like, wow, you just made me laugh after probably the most disgusting thing in this movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of like really good timing in this.
Yeah.
Then Clipper tells Goose the gangster life isn't for him. He gets down and Goose is like, dude, the cops might still be down there, and he's like, I'm going back to church, man. And then he runs into the cops, and they like don't notice him and chase some guy behind him,
Yeah.
who they end up killing,
Yeah.
who they end up shooting, and we hear in the voiceover now that the motel heist went down as the bloodiest in history.
Yeah.
The outlaws took different paths, and then you see that they're standing over the body and they're saying this guy's a worker, not a hoodlum, right?
So fucked. That's what I mean with like just how
Yeah,
absolutely cheap life is. It's just
yeah.
wow.
And I love like there's this awesome shot of Melonhead saying, "I'll make him one," like a hoodlum, and he like puts the gun in his hand and fires it, and the bullet ricochets and looks like it's gonna hit Clipper, but it shatters a car rear view mirror.
Yeah.
And he says, "Destiny put Clipper in the hands of God, Shaggy in the hands of Bernice, and Goose in the hands of his father."
I love that.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. Well, especially since I had kind of lost track what happened to Clipper, like seeing all this spiritual setup you're talking about is very cool.
Yeah. And he goes to the church, and then we never hear anything about him again. But we do hear Goose getting dressed down by his dad. You know, he's telling him that he's gonna have to sell fish with him, and he's gonna have his little brother Bushkape watch him.
Yeah, and I like that his brother just wants him to study. You know, that's a trope in
Yeah,
Boys in the Hood as well. You know.
yeah.
Like,
He tells him, "I'm a hood because I got no brain. You gotta study." And I love he says to him, "I study because I hate physical like manual labor," which I thought was very funny. I was like, "That's relatable."
That's fair. That's
And then
fair.
he sees looking down the like barrel of the gun, right? And Goose reprimands him, and he's like, "Dude, don't ever use this fucking gun. Promise me."
Yeah.
Good foreshadowing
just
as well.
just all how casual like everything is with
All
the
the handling of the guns, yeah.
it's just like they're constantly like could blow their head off accidentally any second,
Yeah.
and they're just like, yeah, whatever.
Just very chill, very very normal to them.
Wild.
Shaggy and Bernice. Well, Shaggy's fidgeting behind Bernice.
I love this.
They have
scene,
a great
yeah.
back and forth.
Yeah, it's
It's
great.
very charming.
Yeah, it's so much character work for such ends up being such small characters in the movie, in the overall story. Like their romance is such a
I
tiny
think-
part,
I
and
think
it's so fleshed out.
I think the way how much they look apart and that this is his older brother, like it feeds. I feel like you're almost doing work for Benny, like for later on as well. Like you're setting down some like good like character shit for him as well.
Right.
But yeah, I love the thing that he says. You know, he says I'm in love with you, and she says hoods don't love, they desire, and she has this whole thing about like hoods don't X, they X, right?
Mhm.
Which which I think comes up later on. Like I think Buscapé says something like they don't stop, they just they take a break or something like that. But yeah, we see them kissing, like we said, very cute. Then there's the whole montage of after the holdup. There's the constant police raids. Every day someone's going to jail, but no one knew anything and no one said anything.
Man, I would be so horrified by what happened. Like, just you try to do something with no blood spilt and everyone's fucking dead there. That would, like, nobody seems to like make that big of a deal about it other than like, look, it was the cops.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's what I would think. I would be like, dude, the fucking cops killed everyone and are gonna fucking pin it on us.
Yeah.
They probably killed everyone, took the rest of the money, and now they're gonna pin it on us.
Yeah, you wouldn't think it was the kid.
No, why would you think it was the kid?
Cuz what's the motive either way, you know?
To make money? I mean, you have to think about this is a country where like or a time, a place where police like kill indiscriminately, like or have that sort of power, right?
Man.
There's this big power now. They're the poorest people in the city, right?
Yeah.
It's part of like how disposable they are, how worthless they are, you know?
Yeah, just hate to see him.
I do, yeah, it does suck. It does suck. And I do think that I think that the guy who plays Shaggy does a good job of sort of like showing like the way he looks when they tell him like all those people who died. Like he looks like he's like the fuck. Like there's like a physical
Yeah, I got
sort
more
of, like, look to it.
confusion out of it than like real
I'd seem like
mourning or horror.
It seemed
you
like
know?
confusion and disgust. Like,
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Like,
Yeah.
Cause like,
Yeah. Or
cause
yeah,
we didn't fucking like.
a reasonable reaction.
I
is
saw
just
it with
like,
my own two eyes. I
Yeah.
walked away and no one was dead. Everyone was alive. But it is 3 months later, and actually, this is the scene that we've been talking about. Bernice tells Shaggy that he has to get a job, and Shaggy's like, "I just wanna." And again, like I said, this is echoing Benny so much.
Yeah.
I just want to have kids and a farm, raise chickens, and grow pot.
Yeah, I was always and we'll talk about this more when we get to it. Like, so, and I remember feeling this the first time I watched it too. I find Benny to be like such a enigma, I suppose, where it's like he's so fun loving and chill and like down to earth, but he's also the right hand man of the biggest like serial killer in town. You know what I mean? It's just like, who is this dude?
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. I think that like again he's representing this bridge between like the old school and the new school.
Yeah, if you take it as pure allegory,
I
totally
like when
makes sense.
when I'm watching it, there are moments where I think about that, right?
Yeah.
But I do think that he and also just an enigma of like we get into like his wants and desires, but they're very like surface level, right? Like his brother died in this tragic public way that we're about to talk about, and it's never like he's not really a focus, like a main character, right? Like we never really dive into his emotional world.
He's just the coolest guy around.
Yeah, but I kind of think it works for him to be kind of an enigma because I feel like cool people, part of being cool is mystery, right? Like
Yeah. I feel like I liked it witnessing it. Like I really like his character, but now that we're talking about it, I'm like maybe that is a little bit of weak writing around like how that's set
I don't
up.
necessarily think so. I also think like they're like 17 or 18, like they're 18 basically.
Right.
So like to me it kind of makes sense like how I don't know.
I guess I would
just
have liked one scene of him doing some of the shit it's alleged he had to do to get to where he's at by the end. You know what I mean?
right, that like
Like, I wanna
has he
see
ever
that
actually
dark
has he
side,
ever
yeah.
actually killed someone or anything like because
You really
like
just
is
see
it
him being a
just
cool,
Zay,
good
like
dude.
yeah, no, it is true. I mean, we'll get to the famous shot, but he's standing next to Zay when like he's like fucking holding that fucking gun, right? But we don't really see him. I mean, he has the moment where he like shoots in the air when he's being made fun of, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, never kills anyone.
Nope.
And I think that's probably a specific choice. But yeah, it would be cool to see more of the duality of him, like
Yeah.
someone like a Doughboy, right?
Yeah, well, and I think he kind of represents. Yeah, that's a good point, Doughboy for sure. I think he kind of represents narratively, he's kind of the glue that keeps Lil Z from not losing his goddamn mind, like going towards his worst impulses. He's the balance. He's the yin to the yang, you know? So it's almost like, yeah, some of it is just like symbolic.
He's the floodgate.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
3 months later.
as I was saying, he wants to have a kid. You know, she tells him to get a job. He says he just wants to. And again, like I said, echoing the thing that Benny says later on, he wants to have kids with her. He wants to have a farm, raise chickens, and grow pot. And then he also mentions that he almost got rich off the motel job. And this is where she says, the cops are still after you for all those deaths. And he is like, what deaths? What deaths are you talking about? We didn't kill anyone. And then he says, it was probably the cops. And now I'm taking the rap, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I like that line, like a hood doesn't take breaks, or a bandito, or whatever word.
A hood doesn't stop. A hood takes a break, I think is what they say, right?
Oh yeah.
A hood doesn't
That's
stop.
it,
He takes
yeah.
a break. That's gonna be the line for the beginning of
That's
the
what I
next
meant,
scene.
yeah.
Because I love the way Bernice says this to him. She says, "You're alone now, dude. Clipper's religious. Goose is working." And Shaggy's like, "Well, they abandoned me." And Bernice said, "Well, I'm gonna leave you behind too, but you can come with me if you want." And this is sort of like they're out. They're gonna leave the favela, right?
Yeah.
But like you said, a hood doesn't stop. He takes a break. Is the way that we start with the scene of Goose and Buscape selling fish, right? And we hear in the voiceover that he said that Goose said he'd stop messing around, but then he started messing around with Shorty's wife.
That guy.
Yeah.
Problem, man. Oh my
And
god.
the way the shots of him just staring, you know, you see
He's
Shorty
so
peering down the
sinister.
street at her while she's talking to Goose. And I think that the name of this character in Portuguese is Paraíba, and I don't know if that's just a name. I think it's actually like a place in Brazil. I wonder if that's like, I don't know.
Interesting.
Who knows what the purpose is of that name, but Shorty works in this case, you know.
Yeah, and then we get the whole line about the warm banana.
Well, yeah, Shorty doesn't go down on her.
Yeah.
And then her friend says, "Do you guys do anal?" And she's like, "No." And he's like, "Dude, you gotta get fucked in the ass and stick a warm banana in your vagina. It feels awesome."
And the way she's like, no, if I recommended, or if I asked him to do that, he would beat me. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, she says he's liable to beat me. Yeah.
If you asked him for some kinky stuff, he'd beat you? That's insane.
Well, I mean, obviously it's true too. The way that he reacts later on, and we see the banana on the bed, the body is writhing. And then we realize, as we hear Shorty scream, that it's Goose getting caught with Shorty's wife.
Yeah, I do love that transition. Very clever.
Very good, yeah. And the shot of him, and the whole time that they're talking about this, he's staring at her.
Yeah.
Like, you see those shots of him, like, just, like, looking from down the street at the bar.
Yeah, and he just beats her to death with a shovel.
Yeah. Before that,
What
we
a
do see
damn
Goose
shame, bro.
with the shirt around his, like,
yeah,
his
yeah.
dick, and begging Buscape to give him his shorts.
Yeah, it's very funny.
But yeah, he just beats her to death with the... Well... Later on, it says man buries wife alive, right?
Oh, I missed the alive part.
Yeah, and I was like, what the? So she wasn't dead, and she died after.
Maybe he just like thought he killed her.
Right, and she
Oh
was like
my
unconscious.
God. That's so much worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, horrible.
And then you see the cops stop the fucking Buscape.
Yeah, I remember this movie being dark and twisty, but it was darker and twistier than I remembered for
It
sure.
just has a good way of like kind of having some good vibes.
Yeah.
Like a lot of like
It's very
good fun. Like it shows the duality of a place like this, where like this is a community that is like constantly victim to violence, but also like these people still know how to have a good time.
well, it's just interjected constantly with extremely dark humor. Like,
Yeah.
It's like I was talking about earlier, like the symmetrical moment of not symmetrical, I guess, juxtaposition of he just is murdering his wife with a shovel while the brother is trying to get Rocket to take his shorts off so he can, hide himself. Like it's such a comedic little like beat between them. While
Yeah, it is literally like he beats the shit out of his wife with a shovel, and then it cuts to like the
this
whole
silly
them, like,
little
bargaining,
comedy bit of bargaining for clothes.
but also like such a very like genuine thing. Like it felt very like real brothers.
Yeah.
Like, man, you're always like, I'm always like bending over backwards for you, bro. Like, because he does say something. He's like, oh god,
Well,
dude.
the
Like,
fact that yeah, he gets his pants taken, or he gives his pants to his brother, and then he immediately gets arrested.
and
So
then
he has to get
yeah,
arrested without his pants on.
yeah, they take him to his house, and this is very interesting. The parents are not major characters in this movie,
No, we
but
just
this
get
is
that
the
one
first
scene.
time you
Yeah.
see his mom. This is the second time you see his dad
Mhm.
in the movie.
But the only real like moment you get with the dad, I think, is him just like kind of like chewing them out a bit.
Yeah, yelling at Goose.
and saying he'll kill them both if they ever do some shit.
If I ever see you with money that isn't yours, is
Oh,
what he
yeah.
says, which is I love
Yeah.
the choice of words.
Yeah.
And then the cops search the house, and in the voiceover he says, and I like this as like you don't hear the dad saying, "I never want to see Goose again," and then the voiceover going like, "And he never did," but instead it is just Bushkape delivering to us, my dad said he never wanted to see Goose again, and he never did, and something about that makes it more tragic. I don't
Yeah.
know, like, and then because in the next scene we see, and again this isn't really explained until later on, right?
Yeah, I did remember the way Little Dice looked at him, and
Yeah.
my memory of the movie clicked there. I'm like, oh shit, he kills him right after this, right?
Yeah. Goose runs into them. He's like, "You guys are fucking loaded," and he takes some fucking money from them, and you can tell, fucking Little Dice is unhappy with that. And then Goose tells Benny, tell Shaggy that Shorty is squealing, and he's like, "I'm getting out of here."
Yeah, it's the perfect time to get him because everyone thinks he left town.
Yeah, and that at that point in the movie, you're like, "Oh, okay." So he got out, never saw him again. But there's something sinister about it for sure. Some foreboding, foreshadowing, if you will.
They linger on Little Dice,
Yeah.
glaring at him for a while, and he has a gun, and yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know
yeah.
if the gun's out in this scene.
I think he has it nearby if he's not like holding it. And then you have the line as well because he says, Shorty squealing, and you hear in the voiceover Bushkape says, "But Shorty had his hands full, but with something else." And then you
Oh
see
my
him burying
God.
his wife in his house.
Fucking brutal, and he starts crying.
Yeah,
And it's like something about it is comedic to me still. I don't know why. It's like so. It's almost just so macabre
it's
that
pretty
it's comedic.
fucked up. Or almost like the only way to like really
Yeah.
to react is to
Maybe
laugh.
it's just being shocked by it.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't laugh or think it was funny at that part.
I think I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Neighbor called it in, and then he says that the tabloids went to town with it. Man buries wife alive in the city of God. And that makes it so that now there's reporters and cops all over the place.
Yeah.
We see Shaggy and Bernice pull a gun on a guy to try and get out of the favela. And this is pretty tragic. It just the way that scene happened beforehand, you're like, "Oh, cool." The way he's like, then there were cops and reporters everywhere.
And at
then
this point,
cuts to Shaggy and Bernice, and you're like, "Oh, this must be like days later or something, right?" And then like you realize like, "Oh shit, this is all happening at the exact same time."
yeah.
Because then Shorty calls out and says, "You want to get the thieves right there?" Points out Shaggy because he has to help the guy push the car because it like it fucking stalls.
Yeah.
And he's pushing it from
Tragic.
the outside and starts, and then he fucking gets shot down by the fucking cops, dude.
Yeah, and it's shocking, or I remember being really shocking the first time because he has main character energy at this point in the movie. He's the most charismatic, like kind of the three, I would say. The most chill, and he's got the romantic interest, and kind of seems to be the leader of the trio in a way. So it's like, oh, he's dead. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I do feel like I knew that, like, at least we were gonna move away from this setting and these characters. I don't know, maybe because I just seen like frames from the movie before, and I knew like they were in the more developed favela with like bigger buildings, right? And so I was kind of like, I don't think we're gonna be in this time for like that long. But it was shocking for him to just like fucking die.
And the way it's done is so fucking dramatic with him
His
just
body, like
well-
the camera angle, like down at
well,
him.
first just him running through the streets, just
Yeah.
so wounded with guns firing at him, and then
Yeah.
finally ending on him just lying there. It's
And
just
his
like,
body
damn.
positioning is a little bit like the Hanged Man in like a tarot card as well.
Oh wow, that's a good call.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a pretty easy one to do. It's just like one of your legs is straight, one of your legs is bent, and I feel like when you're probably staging a body when you're shooting a movie, you're like, how do I make it feel supernatural? Like super natural as in very natural, not like
Right.
not
Gotcha.
unnatural. And like you're probably like, well, both legs can't be straight. Both legs can't be bent the same way. One more straight, one more bent. So I feel like a lot of times when you see dead people on the ground in movies, they end up looking like the hanged man.
That's interesting. I like that.
But it could be on purpose. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean,
also,
I realized that just saying it all out loud just now.
no, I love
No,
that.
not that's no notes right there.
That's great. I love the shot of the neighborhood with all the like it's almost like copy houses, just like such a
Yeah.
beautiful shot of this endless street of these roofs. And
It's so
and then
orange.
yeah, it's gorgeous, and then it pans down to just him there dead on the ground, just like what some powerful cinematography there.
Yeah, really, really well done. I think it was nominated as well
Nice.
for cinematography, and I love the way that Buscapé says, "I remember the crowd that day, and the fucking camera." And he's like staring at that camera. He's like, always wanted a camera
Right.
because of that.
Right. I just had camera in parentheses here, and I couldn't remember why. Thank you.
Yeah, just love the way he's like staring at it as like the guy's taking a picture of like Shaggy's dead body. And then we cut to the 70s.
Yeah.
We got the groovy crowd.
Yeah.
They're cutting class to go to the beach.
Yeah.
And I think we hear Tiago say, "The sun is for everyone. The beach is for those who deserve it."
That's good. Tiago is such a interesting background character throughout this movie. Like he's just kind of always weaving through everything.
I think what's interesting about him is I don't think he's from the favela. I think he's like from outside and like goes there to get drugs and then like
gets pulled into it.
Kind of like what would you call it? Like maybe a case of affluenza, but not really. I don't think he's like super rich or anything. I just think he probably doesn't.
Well, he
live
has
there.
really nice clothes. They point out, and he does
He
send
does.
him to get the nice clothes.
Yeah,
so
he
maybe he
does.
is kind of rich, and he has money for drugs.
He's
so.
also white, and typically in Latin American countries, being lighter skin is an indicator or thought of as being related to being having more money or being like a member of a higher part of society.
Checks out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so Buscapé, he's got his first camera at 16. He's the official photographer of the group. And again, the Groovies. That's what they call themselves.
Love that. Yeah, I think one thing I just admire so much about the structure of this narrative is how many interesting, good characters are introduced, and they just play their one little part in the movie, and then they're just like gone. Like
Yeah.
Angelica, right? Like she, like set up as I want to lose my virginity to her. I love her basically, and like being such a focus for our main character. Then she gets together with someone else and leaves town, and that's it.
But is also a very important, critical character in that other character's like story,
Oh,
right?
of course, yeah.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Is she's such a small part of the story, but has so much impact and is so interesting.
yeah. Well, it's cool that like you feel like, oh, okay, her and Benny are together, whatever. Rocket is still friends with them. They're cool. Okay, like that's over. But then like that she comes into play, like pulling Benny out, right?
Yeah.
Toward like, and then even the way that Zay says to her, "This is all your fucking
Yeah,
fault."
that's the last time we see her. How sad. Yeah.
It is. It's yeah. It's tragic, but I'm sure that things went better for her.
Yes.
At least I hope so.
Yes.
And this is the part where we get the thing, like you're saying, he's in love with Angelica. He wants to lose his virginity to her. He also says she's the only one in their group who fucks.
Yeah, which I thought was very interesting.
Very funny, very funny.
I don't know exactly the implications of that, but
Yeah.
good stuff.
And then somebody's like, "Man, I need a joint, un baseado." And Tiago's like, "You think that's cool, dude? You should try snorting coke, dude."
Yeah.
And we get, Angelica prefers weed.
Oh my god, the moment of when they all take a picture together and he's like, just stand back a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's really funny,
He
dude.
just
I do
puts
love
him in
that.
the shadow. I love that.
The shots of the beach are awesome, dude.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I was saying at the beginning. Every time we're on the beach, it looks amazing.
The colors look really, really cool. Again, there's this sort of like very stylish like vibe nature to it. It is just like that look of fucking film, that you can't replicate. I wonder if these are the shots that are done in like 35 millimeter and they're a little bit like sharper. But the light, again, there's something kind of like trippy about the way that it's like exposed and stuff almost.
Yeah.
Like there's like a lot of like sun, but it's like really like almost overexposed,
It
but it
kind of
looks
reminded
really
me
good.
of the beach scene in There Will Be Blood, if you remember what I'm talking about, when he goes under the water. There's like a certain quality to the way everything looks
I
that
think it's like that the sky looks like blown out almost,
yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
yeah, you can get like so much like dynamic range on film. So like you get almost like white, right? Which is in like film terms becomes almost like no information. It just becomes or like it just like fully like a one. I guess you could think of it in a binary if
Right.
colors sit between that spectrum. But but then there's this way of doing it like using it very stylishly, like pushing it to the limits. Um
Totally.
but then we have Tiago fucking challenging Stringy to a race in the water because he says, you know, I heard you want to be a lifeguard.
Right. Right.
Little thread from before, you know,
Yeah.
from
Well,
the
I
from the
like that.
flashback.
I like that. And yeah, he basically offers to uh get drugs for them,
He's gonna get her a joint,
and she gives him a little smooch for
a
that.
little kiss on the cheek.
Very sweet.
Yeah,
And then one of my favorite sequences in the whole movie, and I had to rewind like 10 times to get it all because it's fucking awesome, and I didn't want to miss any of it. The story of the apartment.
yeah. Well, so he's going to Blackie,
Yeah.
whose name in Portuguese is Neguinho, which means little like little black like so blackie, but and it can also people use it informally like to mean like or like they call their like loved ones that right like neguinho right like but it also translates as like little n-word,
Oh shit.
but like I don't know if it has like I don't know yeah, I don't know if it's of a similar like it seems like it has other applications as well. So
Yeah,
very
I
very
always felt
interesting.
awkward writing Blackie down.
Yeah, Blackie feels weird to say too as well.
Yeah.
Played by Ruben Sabino. So
I love this sequence.
yeah, but he says he would do anything for Angelica, right?
Oh yeah.
And he's talking about how he could get a great deal because he is a former classmate is the local boss, and that local boss is, as we know, Blackie. And then while he's there, trying to buy some weed, we get this scene that happens 3 times in the movie, and this is the first time that it happens. It's the knocking at the door,
yeah.
and then they answer, and there you go. It's Lil Dice busting in, and he says to him, you know, "Oh man, you're showing up to my place like this." And he says, "Who said it's your place?" Which is a thing that is echoed throughout the movie. You know,
Yeah.
your business.
Yeah.
And then yeah, like you said, we get the story of the apartment.
I just love when we get to this later how he did all this shit in a day. Like he became king of this neighborhood in a day, and this was just one of his stops. And the fact that instead of seeing it first, seeing it from the perspective that like okay
Well,
now
that's
now
more-
it's my day.
That's more the story of Little Zay, which is the next.
Yeah,
little, like,
I know. That's
chapter.
what I'm saying, though. I love that we are getting just a glimpse of this huge turning point from
Yeah.
just one angle instead of getting it from his angle and his perspective.
Yeah, it is cool the way the camera just stays in the same place and like everything sort of like morphs.
Yeah, it's so good. I love this whole
So the person who
sequence.
started selling drugs there, Dona Zelia, she started selling drugs to raise her daughters. And she used to give the local boys drugs in return for special favors, aka sex. Who was her favorite? Her favorite was Big Boy.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I don't know. So Big Boy just fucking grabs her by the hair and throws her out one day. Decides,
Nah,
mine now.
this is my place.
yeah,
There's literally no law enforcement in this whole neighborhood. It's pretty much just like free reign unless they're cracking down on you.
yeah. I mean, it is like the slum, you know. It is of like a poor
Yeah.
neighborhoods.
I just
Under
thought you could
police.
still be like, "Hey, someone just stole my house." But I
Yeah.
guess not.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder. I mean, who knows what the lease looks like? Who knows what kind of threats he made as well?
Or if
we're
he's
also-
paying off the cops.
I mean, I'll tell you this. Like, I lived in Peru. Peru is in Latin America. Peru is not Brazil. Lima is not Rio, but there is a certain level of formality with things in the U.S. and sort of this reliance on like that following the proper channels, things will get done. that just doesn't feel the same in like Peru.
Right.
Like I just felt like, bribing cops was pretty commonplace. Like
Yeah.
when you get pulled over, like you're like, here's 50,
Yeah, I hear about that
or
from a
here's
lot
like
of
a pack
places
of
in the world.
cigarettes.
Yeah.
So I think it's just like, I think it really is partially speaking to, the experience of living not just in a different strata of like, socioeconomic class, but
Yeah.
living in like a completely different country. And within that country, specifically Rio de Janeiro, which is like has a reputation all on its own, but is a huge fucking city,
Yeah.
right? Like with a
And
huge population.
Brazil is so huge. So
Yeah.
like I imagine there are 1,000 different types of lifestyles throughout Brazil.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even within Rio, there's gonna
Right.
be that. I mean, the band that I toured with, Orua, like I mentioned last episode, they're from Rio, and they're musicians, and I talked to them, and they're like, yeah, I mean, it's dangerous, but if you stick with us, like you'll be fine. They definitely like their whole vibe is just, and like from following them on Instagram and shit, they love playing music, putting on shows, like it reminds me a lot of like the kinds of shit that my friends are very passionate about up here, but it definitely looks very different. And the experience is different as well, but I don't know. It's just wild to see that reflection.
Yeah. It's very interesting. I mean, yeah, that's just, we didn't really emphasize this, although I'm sure it's apparent just how cool it is to get this angle of the world
Coming
in
of
this
age.
story.
They live in a huge city in a
beautiful,
different country.
Amazing, but extremely deadly. Just fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, this is like a story where a lot of the characters are multiracial. A lot of them are like black. A lot of them I guess you would also consider them like Latino, and it's very, and like just also the like different like the diversity.
Yeah.
Like you look at Angelica, she looks very much what you would picture like a person from Latin America to like look like stereotypically. Buscape is black, like, and then you have Tiago, who's like white with red hair, and Senora or Carrot. I think literally his name is that because he's like a little bit of a ginger.
Yeah, and part of the trivia I read it, I think I already mentioned that like almost all these actors are like from the City of God or like
and I love that because I think that people tend to think of other countries as almost being so homogenous, but Latin America, well, at least some of the countries, like including Peru, do have like a diverse like group of people. I mean, sure, the percentages of certain like ethnic groups are, a lot bigger than compared to other ones, but you definitely see like people like in Brazil. There's a huge Japanese population. There's a big one in Peru as well. There's also a very large Chinese population.
Yeah.
If you ever go to Peru, you got to try chifa. That is Peruvian Chinese food. It's fucking amazing. Highly recommend.
Sounds awesome.
But I do I
things.
just love seeing that sort of just like it's just like so diverse, like such a colorful like cast, like in their like character, like and like their like personalities, but just like such a like beautifully diverse group of people to like look at.
Yeah. I think I read that Carrot, the actor who plays Carrot, was the only one who really had like a bunch of acting experience.
That's cool.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, they found lightning in a bottle to a certain extent. I feel like.
Speaking of Carrot,
Yeah.
after Big Boy seizes the business, Carrot becomes his best dealer, so he lets him manage.
I love the
business.
right hand man because they just explain this later, and I think it's very cool to look at is the child soldier kind of, or not child soldier yet.
The career path.
The career path. The like,
delivery
the rank,
boy. Yeah,
delivery boy to soldier to manager to boss, right?
Yeah, well, it's delivery boy to lookout
to soldier.
No, to dealer.
Oh,
to soldier.
Okay, I missed this.
And then if you're good at math, you can become a manager.
Yeah, so it's cool. Like, yeah, it's just cool to get so immersed in this whole hierarchy system.
Yeah,
and
it's very cool.
everything,
Yeah, like the delivery boys, they run errands, they like send messages.
Mm-hmm.
The lookouts are the ones with the kites, which is very cool.
Yeah.
They pull the kites down when the cops come.
Yeah, it's very.
And
clever.
then they call the dealers vapors because when the heat comes, they evaporate. Right, they disappear.
Right.
And then the soldier's the one who you just see has like a gun.
Right.
To I think just kind of be the like muscle if necessary. And then the managers are, if you're good with money, you can be the right hand man.
Love that. And do you have to be a soldier to become a manager? I wonder.
I think maybe if you're good at math, you might be able to like kind of do
Jump a
that.
step.
It sounded like they were saying like if you get to the level of soldier and you're good at math, you could become a manager.
That's what I was taking it as, but
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, it just comes down to whatever crazy asshole is your boss.
Yeah. So we have Aristotle, who is Carrot's friend.
Love that name. I'd love to have Aristotle as my drug dealer nickname or gangster nickname. That's sick.
Yeah, for sure. There's a soccer player, a very famous Brazilian soccer player whose name is Socrates.
Oh, okay. Love it. Love it.
Yeah. I've also heard that there's a name in Brazil that's somewhat common. It's Walt Disney.
Oh, like Voltaire? Like,
No, Walt Disney.
Oh.
Walt Disney.
Oh.
Walt Disney. Yeah.
Wow, I totally misheard.
Yeah, isn't that funny? Well, I mean the pronunciation of the W is more like a V
Yeah.
sound, and then the Rio de Janeiro accent, I believe, is they do the D's are J sounds, like more like sort of like G or
Yeah,
J sounds.
definitely heard that.
That's why it's like Ciudade
Yeah.
de Deus.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Love it. I mean,
Capaz.
it has so much like flavor to the consonants that are being made. I feel like in Portuguese, where it's just like so bright. It's such a bright language.
It's a very, I think lots of people say it's very sort of like musical, very
Yeah,
lyrical.
musical is a good way to put it.
So anyway, Aristotle needs some money, so Carrot fronts him some weed, doesn't pay him back, and Carrot's like, "Can we give him like an extra week?" And he says, "Either you kill him or I kill him."
fucking sad.
And all of
man.
these shots are so cool. The way we're transitioning
yes,
between them.
it's just like the camera's just like against
Moving,
the
yeah.
wall of one room, and you're just seeing everything fade
Yeah,
in and out
yeah,
in
yeah.
front of you. It's so cool.
And I love the way that he like is just holding the gun at him, not even looking at him. He's, "Come on, don't do it." And then poof.
Yeah, a bit of a nightmare scene to take notes for, though. I will say, where I'm just like, okay, wait, hold on,
Yeah.
this, and I only like took so many notes and details of it because I was enjoying it so much. I wanted to understand the flow of this little short story within
Yeah.
the larger story. You know,
Yeah.
it's like a short story within a short story within a short story
Yeah.
to an extent. Yeah.
And he wanted to kill Big Boy because he made him kill his friend, but that wasn't necessary because Big Boy never paid off the cops.
Yep.
Ends up dying in jail. Poor
Yep.
guy, dude.
And Carrot was the right hand man, so he took everything and just like.
But he doesn't want the apartment because it's ill-fated,
Yeah.
which it truly is.
And Carrot was the only one to survive all this shit, so
Yeah.
he was just a clever bastard the
Yeah.
whole time. He
So-
was the smartest one, right?
Yeah.
He was the one who knew how to play the game the best.
Yeah, and so Blackie was his best dealer, and that's why he gives it to him, you know? And you have been seeing Blackie in a lot of like the shots throughout. Like you see him as like a dealer, right? Becoming like a dealer.
A
and-
very important role in the movie.
Yeah. And that's how he took over the local trade, but not for long.
Yeah.
And then Zay is like, he's like, "Dude, I'm not a little Dice. I'm Lil Z now, baby. You know, I'm not Dadinho. I'm Zé Pequeno." And then we get, boom, again, another like title. The story of Little Zay.
Yeah.
He always wanted to be the boss of City of God.
Yeah, what a crazy tale of ambition and just like, flying too
Yeah.
close to the sun.
Icarus, dude.
Yeah.
As my friend said, though, I think what Icarus said, he said something along the lines of like, "But if I had never fallen, I wouldn't know what it was like to soar so high," you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, go out there on your murder spree if you've been wanting to.
No.
Just
no, no,
kidding.
No.
That is a joke. That is parody. I do not want people to kill people. I think killing people is bad.
Good.
We gotta get a lawyer, dude.
God,
But
yeah,
yeah,
I
we-
just
we-
wrote here, what a psycho, and then
Yeah,
in parentheses, fuck. I think that's when we see him shooting everyone.
He's killing everyone in the motel, and he's
Yeah,
laughing. you
and
know?
he's just loving it. He's just loving it.
Yeah.
These poor sweet people, like they're like, you guys should just go study. Like, why are you here? And now just brutally murdering them while laughing.
Okay, we gotta think about this too. Like this moment, right? At this moment, you're Benny, right? Your friend is like, "I gotta get out of here." You go with him, right? You come back. You start hearing people talking about everyone dying in the motel. I mean, I guess you're like, "Wow, my brother and his crew were fucked up."
It depends how on to, like, how much of a psychopath Little Dice is.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell. But anyway, they end up leaving the City of God for a little while, and we see him shining some shoes. but then they fucking knock the
Yeah.
guy out
I
and
think
take
the
his
line
money.
in the subtitles was he had to work for peanuts to just,
Yeah.
get by. And
Yeah, yeah.
and you think he's like actually working hard. It's like,
Yeah.
no, he's just robbing this dude.
Yeah. They had the gift of crime. And then we see the scene again of him, of Maheko running into Dadinho and Bene. And, I love this, like, this at the end of the scene now we get him offering the gun to Goose, saying,
Mm,
like, hey, from Shaggy, man, you're going to need some protection.
yeah.
Goose turns around. And then we don't even see Goose go down. You just see fucking, we just see Lil Dice fucking shoot him. And then the one of my favorite shots, and I think the most iconic sort of shot for me from this movie, is the montage of him
Yes.
standing over Goose's dead body, shooting over and over again, and like it changing to him shooting different people, and then it
It's
ends
awesome.
on his 18th birthday.
What a-
him standing and Benny standing next to him, just look like smiling approvingly.
Just what a insanely cool way to show a villain grow up, right? Just by doing what they love doing best and what makes them, the villain and the antagonist of this story. Just killing, growing up, killing, telling you everything you need to know about this guy.
Yeah, I think there's this movie and like Kids are probably the ones where like you see the most like children doing like some
Mm.
really uncomfortable shit.
Yeah, it made me think of The Wire a lot too, because definitely some fucked up kid shit going on in that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's true. But I guess those are the big ones that I think of, because it just feels like such a central part of like the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it's his 18th birthday.
I love tuba in this movie. Just poor tuba.
Just like spitting in his face.
He just gets shit on by everyone and then dies.
Yeah, and again, we have the adult versions of both characters. So now we have I want to shout out the brothers because I think that's so sick. So the older one is Jonathan Hagginson, who plays Cabelleira, who is Shaggy, and then his younger brother Felipe Hagginson, who plays Bene or Benny. Very fucking cool.
Yeah.
Now we have as Zé Pequeno, and I want to shout him out. Leandro Firmino da Hora is the name of the fucking actor. He's fucking terrifying. He's so good in this.
Yeah.
I love the performances of all of like the like core cast. I love Buscapé. I think he's so good at being. There's these moments where the expressions on his face and shit.
Yeah. I think I found myself, or like reflecting on it now, I don't think I was really like even thinking of the acting.
Felt so natural.
It
Yeah,
just felt super natural.
And Buscapé, that's played by Alexandre Rodriguez is the name of that guy.
Yeah, excellent. Everyone does really well.
Some really good stuff for sure.
And
also shout out-
C's terrifying.
Shout out to the person who plays the young version of him as well. Who I'm gonna look this up really quickly because I feel like that performance is so fucking good. Douglas Silva is his name.
Mm-hmm. I think what's interesting about Little Z is I think they make him more sympathetic as an adult as they did when he was a kid. As a kid, he feels like he just doesn't care about anything except killing and power. And then
That's a good point.
And as an adult, he has more complicated human emotions going on.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a very good point. But yeah, I agree. I do feel like he feels more complex. There's moments where I actually found myself being like, dude, he's really worried about like the safety of the residents of the favela.
Yeah, that surprised me a couple times.
But it kind of makes sense. He's like, you're killing potential customers.
Well,
You're robbing people who could be giving me their money for drugs.
But it also, I don't know if he thinks about it like this based on the shit he gets into. But man, who is like, I'm spacing on his name right now, like the drug dealer in Narcos.
Oh, you're talking about like the famous guy?
The most famous guy, Pablo Escobar. He was so hard to catch for one reason, because
people loved him,
because he put so much money into the neighborhood, and,
Yeah.
and he solved problems for people.
Yeah.
And so he was just like, no one really wanted to turn him in.
Yeah, I mean, and we see a little bit of that as well happen. People really start to get like over it when the whole war starts to break out, right?
Yeah.
But I love this. Though we see him like bumping into someone, and he like pulls his gun on him, and then we have the whole conversation. He's still a little Dice. Little Dice and Benny are talking, and he's like, Benny, we got to get in the drug business. Look at all these guys, all the fattest cats.
I was trying to remember because I wrote amazing sequence here, and I was trying to remember
And
what
Bernice
it
is
was.
there, and he even says, "That's my brother's
Again,
old girl."
Just super unique artistic camera work where it's just like going in like just this one location, and you're kind of just like focusing in on
Just
these
like the different
little
movements,
pockets of all these people with their own little stories that he's talking, and it's him being like, yo, I think the line is
Who are the fattest cats?
or hold up spring chicken shit, like basically, yeah, it's time to start dealing, and to deal we need
Yeah.
territory, and if
Yeah,
we're gonna
for
take
sure.
territory, we gotta start killing people.
Yeah, I mean, and he also says, not only are we gonna sell drugs, we're gonna sell cocaine
That's right.
because that's where the money's at.
Oh, in this sequence, I love this so much too.
Where
Right
he goes
after
to the
this,
shaman.
yes, I love a little bit of supernatural stuff. In a extremely grounded story.
It's his ultimate undoing. He can't
Yeah.
fornicate with the amulet on.
So good. I
He-
love it.
and he
I
says
love
to
the
him,
prophecy stuff. It's so
He
fun.
says to him, "If you're with me, I'm with you." And then he tells him, "Dadinho is now ze pequeno."
Yeah, and the way he just keeps laughing, and he has such an ominous laugh. Like it just
smoking that
really
cigar, dude.
feels like
Yeah.
you're meeting with like some demon that is
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
even selling your soul to the devil.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like I think that's definitely feels very appropriate as well. I mean, in somewhere like Rio, I mean, the shamanism is like such a part of like indigenous culture in like the Americas, and it's fucking sick. I love it too.
Yeah.
It's awesome that it is like you see it and you're like, okay, I'm gonna watch it for it
Well, right.
to be
as
his
soon as
ultimate undoing.
Right.
you know?
He says you can't have sex. But like you wouldn't put that in the movie unless he has sex and
Yeah,
then he dies.
yeah, exactly. And then we have the montage of him taking over the different rackets,
Yeah.
and they leave Carrot
It's
alone
great.
because he's Benet's friend. And then we see the scene for the third time, but the camera is now handheld, not like on like a tripod. Handheld, very anxious for the third time when the knocking on the door happens.
Yeah.
Um,
And again, the fact that he did this all in a day took everything. Like he basically took on like 4 or 5 crews. And I was trying to look into him more. And I think to what you were saying about how like you expect more channels than there are in Peru, I think it's a similar system where keeping records and stuff, there's just way less. Like there's very little on him or Knockout Ned.
right, for sure. I can imagine. So ultimately, he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna take it over." Benet's like, "Don't kill him, man." And so they shoot him in like the leg, and they're like, "You're gonna work for us," and he does.
Yeah, and I like the little commentary from Rocket here being like, I should have avenged my brother. But he didn't even know.
Yeah, he sees the gun.
Yeah. Yeah, he thinks about shooting him, which is wild.
Yeah, he does it. Yeah, but he didn't know, or maybe he did know.
Maybe at this point, I don't know.
Maybe-
Does he ever find out?
It seems like he might know. I don't know, but then he says,
I don't know.
"What?"
Well, he has to because he's telling the story, so he
yeah,
must know.
Benny.
It's a good question.
Benny says, he says, "Oh, it's Goose's brother." He says, "The late Goose's brother."
Yeah, that's actually maybe a little plot hole because it's like,
No, I could see him knowing.
but he doesn't treat him like unless that's the only tell we get is like the moment of him thinking to shoot him because it's not like he's planning on getting revenge. He's
No.
just like,
No,
I'm
because
gonna
he-
sell photos to you. Hell yeah.
No, because he's like, I'm scared of you. Like, I know like the fatalism of like, I can't do anything to overcome you. Like,
Yeah.
So I also kind of feel like he's like, you killed my brother, but he had it coming because he was involved in this stupid shit,
Yeah, it just never is said by anyone.
No,
It's never
yeah.
confirmed other than the narrative and us seeing it happened. That
Yeah.
anyone has any idea.
But I
that
can
happened.
imagine like through Z's rise, everyone's like, yeah, like
Like,
maybe,
at one point, he's just like, "Yeah, I killed him."
yeah, I fucking killed Goose. Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Oh, you want to know why Goose never came back? I fucking killed him, dude. Like I could see that.
Imagine someone telling you that. Just like, oh my god. man.
Well, dude, I'm sitting across the table and I'm also a stone cold killer.
That's Fredo.
Yeah, that's me, stone cold killer. But yeah. they let him go, and they're like, all right, Bushka, tell everyone that this is Zay's territory now, and we're selling cocaine.
Yeah, I like this little drug packaging sequence where they're kind of showing you all the different
It's
types.
the whole business of selling drugs montage.
Yeah, it's good.
You got Tiago pulling up to get drugs, I think, do we get no, we don't get the context yet that they're broken up. But you see the people on the roofs tossing the packages to each other.
Yeah, and this is where we get the hierarchy.
Yeah, we get the assembly lines as well. Yeah, and we get the whole hierarchy, the path that we went over beforehand. And then you also get the thing that the police get paid off.
Yeah.
And this is where it's mentioned he doesn't have any enemies, so there's no shootouts. People can drive through. The Playboys can come and get their fucking drugs.
I mean, it's really interesting because like you see this throughout all of history. Like someone like Genghis Khan who conquers like a fifth of the world or whatever, and even though this huge, brutal, like endless onslaught of death, the period afterward was extremely peaceful, and you get the golden or not the golden road, the Silk Road after that, and all that, and all of these like it kind of connected the West and the East together, and all of these huge innovations and technological booms and population spikes and stuff like that, and it's like, damn, all from these horrible atrocities.
Yeah, in this case, they also get a city full of addicts, he says. City of God is full of addicts. And we do see Zay and Benet with like just a bunch of jewelry. You also see the guy like giving them like his TV and shit,
Oh yeah, I like this line where he's like, he would be the man of the year for drugs.
Yeah, yeah. If selling drugs were illegal, he would be man of the year.
Yeah, I like that line a lot.
And then you hear Bushka say, but this is bad for me because I was scared of him. And I think this also kind of speaks to it. Maybe he's scared of him because he killed his brother well of just being scared of him.
He just killed everyone. Every single crime lord in town.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I imagine everyone's scared of him, but it seems like he's almost saying like, I'm especially scared of him. And every time he wants to get a joint, he has to go to fucking Carrot.
Yeah.
But it was worth it because the only time he ever smoked was with Angelica.
Yeah, they're very cute on the beach here.
Yeah, Angelica and Tiago broke up.
Right. And then until the Brunts arrive.
Yeah, Bushka is gonna make his move, dude, and they do kiss.
Yeah.
And the way the kids surround them is so fucking funny. Dude.
Yeah, they just want to hit the joint. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey man, let's hit your joint, dude. And then he's like, "Hey, your joint, man!" As he's like running after Angelica.
Why do you think she kind of runs off? Is it just she just doesn't like this vibe anymore, or I was wondering if she was turned off by the fact that he let the kids kind of like walk all over him, and she's into like really tough guys.
I think she was. I'm of two minds. I think mostly it's like, why didn't you just tell them to fuck off?
That's what I'm saying. I think she wanted him to kind of take charge of the situation, and she was turned off that he didn't, which sucks because he's just being a nice guy.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
I guess that's why he's not.
The other
they're
thought
not right
was
for
like,
each other.
she's like, do you you fucking know these kids or something? Like,
yeah, embarrassed. Yeah,
I don't know, but but then they end up walking off together, right?
Yeah, and beautiful sunset.
Yeah,
here. Oh
beautiful
my
sunset.
God.
And the guys are like, "You don't want your joint back?" He's like, "No, keep it." And they're like, "Oh man, what a cool guy!"
Yeah, I love
which
that.
comes back like to haunt him almost later on. Yeah, in the supermarket, they're stealing stuff, and they're like, "Oh, hey man,
that's why he gets fired."
Because they think he gets fired because they think he's with him. They think that he's
I missed
like, part
that
of their
detail.
game.
Yeah. Oh, I was confused why he was getting fired. That's great.
So,
so being a nice guy, it just really doesn't pay. Yeah.
No, it doesn't, dude. No good deed goes unpunished.
That's the story that you're telling here, right? Is look at how much shit he had to sludge through to get this really nice, happy ending. Where almost everyone else is just getting murdered, dead, killed. And he put in the fucking work to be a good person and
it seems
right.
like his friend survives. His friend probably becomes like a fucking lifeguard,
Yeah.
I'd forgotten that. Like you see Tiago die.
Wait. Oh, on the street at the end?
No, he's the one driving the gas truck.
Oh, I didn't. There's so much going on in that sequence.
I know,
There's so much going on in this whole fucking movie.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. But the next scene we have is Tiago buying coke from Blackie and Benet. And you see Benet sort of staring at Tiago, and once Tiago leaves, Benet follows him. and there's this awesome, like, lovely wide shot with all these beautiful warm colors. And Benet's like, Thiago,
Yeah,
do you
it's
want to race?
amazing. It looks so good.
And dude, you see, like, Thiago could, I think, clearly have beat him, but he lets him win. He
Oh
lets
yeah,
Benny
I love
win.
this sequence. Yeah, he keeps hitting the brakes. Yeah.
Yeah, you just see the one shot of just like him just like clamming on the brakes and then him getting overtaken.
Well, at
by
first
Benny.
I didn't know why he was going after him. I thought he was like might wanted to fuck him up. But he just wanted to race.
Yeah.
He just wanted to race.
Yeah, no, I could see in his look that he was like interested in like the way that he was like dressed and stuff.
Yeah.
And then ultimately that's what it is, where he's like, I want to dress like him, you know?
Yeah.
And so he says like, hey man, will you buy me clothes? And he hands him that fat stack of money. And then we see
that
this,
happens
like,
a couple times in the movie. That just
and you're just like, that
a
is such
huge
an
wad of
unkempt,
cash, yeah.
unkempt wad of cash. Like so disorganized. Like almost
like it's just pulled out of a sack, basically. Yeah.
Is it like a paper mache sculpture or something? But anyway, then the way they measure against each other's bodies, that's very cute.
Yeah, he's like, what am I gonna measure with? Just use your hands.
Yeah.
Worked out, I guess.
And in the next scene, he's bleaching his hair. You know, he's becoming a groovy dude. He's becoming a playboy.
Yeah.
And he comes with the clothes. You know, he lets him keep the change. They start doing coke together. They're
become
fucking
buddies.
friends, dude.
Yeah.
And then Thiago brings Benet to the rest of the group. He already knows Buscapé. You know, their brothers were friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when we see him meet Angelica, and you immediately know that they're in love with each other.
Oh yeah, well, like, or at least they're gonna hook up. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. And then I think immediately after that, Benet is busting into the apartment. He's like, look, I became a playboy.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah.
And little Z talks some shit. He just starts blasting in the
And he
roof.
says, groovies shake their asses before laying a big one.
There you go. There you go. I don't
I
know. I don't know what to
I
tell you.
want to look at what he says in Portuguese because I'm sure it's much more interesting than that.
Yeah, and I love the way he laughs. They laugh it off together after. He's like,
Yeah.
because it's such a tense moment of him
Yeah.
firing and everyone running, screaming,
Yeah.
and he's so mad, and he's like, "You made them laugh at me," and they just kind of laugh, and he leaves.
Yeah, I think it's the moment where you kind of see that side of Benet, right?
That's the closest you get. Yeah, I would like a little more because he's next to. It's like being the right hand man of like Hitler or something, but you're just kind of like a cool guy, you know.
I'm sure there's a lot of people who would love to yes and that statement. Yeah. So then in the next scene, you see they're dancing at a party, you know, and Zay's like, I want to fucking kill Sonora, dude. I want to fucking kill Carrot, dude. And Benny's like, dude, you gotta chill, dude. You gotta chill, dude.
He really does need to chill, man.
Let me talk to him, you know. And well, the point that he's making that he says later on is like, Carrot is letting these runts like pull fucking like stick-ups in the fucking.
I liked when he
favela.
gave it more context because at first I was like, man, you're just kind of mindless about this, and
Yeah.
then it's like, no, he's fucking with my business and he's disturbing the peace of my neighborhood, and I like it peaceful.
Yeah, I love that there is that depth to it, right?
There is. Yeah, nobody robs or rapes in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, so Buscapé showing up with Angelica and like, you know, Stringy, and this is where we first hear, I think, Benet was the coolest hood in the city of God. He gave away weed and bought people beer, you know?
Yeah.
That's all it takes to be a good guy, I guess, you know?
I mean, he's just so damn charming.
The word in Portuguese that they use for weed too, I love maconha.
I mean, he
Maconha, what a cool word.
I think
Dude, try it. You think you say
one more time?
maconha?
Maconha. Yeah, it does feel nice to say.
Maconha.
Maconha. Yeah, I just perfect casting for this dude because he just oozes charisma.
Yeah, and I like him and his brother both are fucking.
Both of them ooze charisma. Yeah.
I actually thought at one point I was like, oh man, the last time I watched it, I was like, oh man, I'm so smart. They used the same guy for both roles.
Yeah.
And then it was a brother situation.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, I didn't really think about it too much other than that they had very similar hair.
Oh yeah, their faces, dude. They look
well,
so
now in
similar.
hindsight,
They
absolutely,
look so similar, dude. You gotta look at some pictures, dude. You gotta be like, whoa, man, you look exactly alike, man.
But yeah, the fact that their stories are so parallel to each other.
Yeah,
is just,
it's well done as well. It's not
Yeah.
overly raw. It doesn't feel like Yeah, it feels so natural. Like it's that cycle because that's one of the themes of this is the cycle of violence and that being trapped by like that fatalism that I like to harp on as one of my themes.
Yeah, and going back to what he's saying about like either way you go, the beast will get you.
Yeah. Either if you stay, the beast will I can't remember. I think here I'm gonna whatever. Anyway, so he also hear when you hear Benny was the coolest hood, Zay was the opposite. He was always obsessed with being the boss, is what he says.
Yeah. And yeah, that's like the most sympathetic side to him is that there's this sense to me that he almost realizes there's this humanity within him missing or this wanting to just be like admired, but instead he's like just feared, you know what I mean? And how that kind of twists him
He
into
wants to
even
be
something
loved.
darker. Yeah, he just wants to be loved, yeah.
If you run, the beast will get you. If you stay, the beast will eat you.
Yeah, that.
That's what it is right there. Yeah, and I think you even see in this scene he's kind of like looking longingly at like maybe like a girl somewhere. I'm not sure,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe not, because I think he like this is where he starts arguing with Carrot. And Carrot tells him like you take care of your turf, I'll take care of my turf.
Right. Yeah, because I think after this he's like, you should get a girlfriend, or maybe that's later.
Yes, because Benet starts dancing with Angelica, and then you hear this part's funny because you hear Stringy saying to Buscape, "My parents are out of town. You can be alone with her. You can lose your virginity." And Buscape is like, "Dude, shut up, dude. Like everyone's gonna hear." And then they both obviously noticing the chemistry between them, and they're like, "Fuck."
Fuck.
And then Buscape is like, "No, nothing's
Oh,
happening. Nothing's
yeah.
happening." And then everyone starts running towards some sort of commotion.
Well, they do this a couple times, maybe just once more in the movie, and it's just such a cool, unique, out of nowhere choice that I love. The split screen. Again, it's even more like they're making even compacting even more information into every frame, but
It's very cool.
Yeah, brilliantly done.
And then the way that they come together is always really cool, right?
Yeah, it's just so smooth and interesting and out of nowhere and cool. It's just a really cool choice.
Yeah, I like it a lot. And we see, things are getting a little out of hand between Carrot and Zay. And Benet comes to like break it up, and Zay like again is telling him to control the runts because they're affiliated in the line that you said no one robs or rapes in my neighborhood. And Carrot really not making. He's just attacking his character. He's like, oh, the baby needs to get his diaper changed.
He, for as well as he maneuvers through all this, I think he just really didn't like Lil Z from the start.
Yeah.
But this is like the last dude you want to antagonize for the exact reason.
I mean, he took the apartment from his favorite dealer.
Yeah, so that's right. He already just like didn't like him.
Yeah, like what the fuck,
Right. But he does like Benny. And that's why he agrees. Like they just like, yeah, but that's because you're a cool dude.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Then we see some rotisserie chickens, and we hear that the runts again, another chicken, being cooked. We hear that the runts don't respect the rules. They'll
well, we see them robbing the store.
they'll mug residents and rob bakeries, is what you hear in the voiceover.
And I like the sign. There was a translation for it. Just thank you for choosing us.
Yeah.
And they just end on that after they get robbed.
And then we see the guy going to Pequeño Zé Pequeño, sorry, to like the store owner to complain about the runts. And in the voiceover, you hear, the city's safer now. There's hardly any holdups. Also in this scene with the store owner, you see the kid who gets recruited during the whole montage about the career path. It's this kid who his mom is like, here, like, ignore them. But then you see him like sort of like run up later on,
right.
and they're giving him money to like get like a soda,
Right.
and that ends up being Steak and Fries, who
Yeah.
we see his dead body later on.
Right. I mean, Steak's kind of a big character.
Yeah.
Well, in the background, again, there's so many little
He
characters.
comes comes to the foreground, like in towards the end there. But yeah, this is we do first see him in that montage, and then we see him again here. And then you see Zay and the crew are walking through the streets, looking for the runts. the runts are eating their chicken, and you have this feeling that the scenes are sort of going to converge, which is I think a big feeling throughout a lot of the movie, where you're having this parallel action and then suddenly like collides together.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very cool.
And you hear the kids even saying this shit about like, oh, we got to make more money. Drug is where the money is at. But like, I don't want to climb that ladder. Like, you got to wait till like a kid, like an older kid, like gets killed to like get a like position.
Or yeah, I think it ends with him being like, well, I'm just going to kill them all like Lil Z.
Like Lil Z, yeah, exactly.
And then Lil Z's like, talking about me, boom, like pistol whips
and
him.
then they all scram.
Yeah,
but
this
they
is a
catch
really
two of
tragic
them. Yeah,
scene.
this is fucked up. Yeah, this is very fucked up. This is a very pivotal moment for Steak.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he has to kill a kid.
Yeah, because they have two kids, and he's like, all right, dude, do you want to get shot in the foot or in the hand? Kid says in the hand. He shoots both of them in the foot.
What a dick.
Then he tells
It's a good question though. I was thinking about it a lot.
Then he tells filet or filet con fritas. Filet con fritas.
I feel like you're more likely to heal better in a foot wound than a hand wound.
The real genius of this scene is the camera placement, which is really honestly a big part of like a lot of the really effective cinematography, along with like the lighting and just the like inherent beauty of the grain of film and the way it like responds to color and like light. But the way like they show from the back of his head him looking at the kid, right? Like the one on the right, who's the older one, is like clearly visible, and you can't see the younger kid because he's pointing the gun at the younger kid. This kid is like 5 or something, dude.
It's so sad.
They're so
tiny.
young, and like
he's shot in the foot. And he's really good performance.
And he's like crying,
of him crying.
Dude. Oh my god,
it really does look like a kid got shot in the foot.
It feels like you're like watching something you should not be watching.
Yeah,
and I think that I love when a movie kind of, dare I say, like holds you in a way where like then in that moment they stop showing the little kid, like because they block him because he's also crying. They block him with Filet's head, and then like also you see him pointing the gun at him and then move the gun slowly to the right. Then it cuts to the shot from behind the head, and you hear the gun go off, and you just see the kid in like
kind of slump
in the fucking like out of focus in the background, right?
Yeah,
out of the depth of field, just like poof.
It's a good call. Yeah, it's really well done.
It feels like, look, I feel like this is a necessary part of telling this story, but I don't want to like I don't want to put it like so raw and front and center like that.
One of the other trivia details I saw, and again, I didn't know, there was 2 directors. So one of the directors said that they didn't want the movie to be, they didn't want to show the violence. They wanted it, they always find a way to, like, there's very little seeing people actually get blown away.
Yeah. It's a lot of the aftermath.
Yeah.
Which I think is all the more tragic in a way. Whatever. But
I don't know.
The way they all celebrate him too when he like fucking kills his first, like takes his, fuck.
Yeah, this is one of those moments, like I understand feeling like you had to kill the kid, but the fact that you keep hanging out with him after this, I think that's a really like turning point moment in what you want to be in life,
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. And I think the kid does a good job of showing like this sort of like internal struggle throughout the rest of the movie. But like I do see your question. I do wonder if it is a matter of like, this is like, I live in this neighborhood and like I live in this building, maybe even.
Yeah, like I can't get away from him.
That's why he saw him all the time, is because he was by him all the time.
Yeah, but the scene starts with him like being like, I'm gonna go hang out with my friend's mom, and like they didn't really care whether or not he came with them, So it feels like he's kind of choosing to show up to this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they ask him, you want to like, they're like, you want to come? You want to take a walk with us?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh man, these guys are cool, right? At that point, but then after this, it's a good point. But again, I think it may be feeling somewhat trapped, again, maybe this whole fatalism of like this is one of the few paths I have. People keep saying you can either be a cop or a hood. There's like so many cops and hoods,
Right.
cops and hoods. Like those are the two options, right? But it's a question that should be posed.
Yeah.
So they tell the other kid, they're like, tell the runts not to rob on Zay's turf. And at this point, they say that while he was winning the respect of the residents, that Benet was winning Angelica's heart. And I think this is the part where you see like some lady, like some like girl, look over at like Zay and like smile for like a second or something. And I don't know if that is specifically Ned's girlfriend from later on, but it might be.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And take note of that. Yeah, we got Benny and Angelica. I don't have any more notes than that. Just them.
They're kissing on a roof, and then I love Bushkape is on the beach, and he's like, and there I was alone and still a virgin.
That's
and
right.
This is where we see that he's working at the supermarket, and we get the title "The Sucker's Life."
Right.
He wants to be laid off so that he can use the severance money to buy a camera. This is where the runts come in. They're like shoplifting. They run into him. They're like, the guy from the beach, he's so cool. And like the guard like chases them out and then looks at him like, dude, do you kind of like, you fucking know those guys? And then you see him getting fired by his manager. And he's like, what about the severance? And the guy's like, what are you fucking severance?
Yeah.
What fucking severance?
Yeah,
And
it's a wild you don't have hot water, but you have severance from a grocery job, Yeah, I was like, that seems kind of wild, and then I thought it was funny just to, flip that on you.
So the hot water thing apparently was an actual conversation that the actors were having, between takes.
Whoa. So the actor had never taken a hot shower?
I think that's what
That's wild.
I'll check this again real quick. It is like the first trivia thing right here. Yeah, so here, let me read it out here. When we hear Buscape, Alexander Rodriguez talking to Marina Graciela Moreto about how he never took a hot bath, that was not scripted. Actually, that was Rodriguez and Moreto talking off camera during a pause in the shooting when the boy who lived on the slums was telling her about his life.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. Buscape, yeah, he lived in the city of God itself.
Yeah, I read that part. That's just
Alexander Rodriguez, he was from there.
crazy.
Born there. Yeah, isn't that wild?
So wild.
So there you go.
Yeah, and no severance pay.
Well, I mean, dude, they got better labor laws than us, but we have hot water, I guess,
Yeah, so, take what you can get, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
the next
there's
part
a
is
good line.
go ahead.
There's a good line where he's like, it was like God was saying, honesty doesn't pay, sucker.
Yeah.
And I think it says so much to. Well, no, actually, it's great because he does try to become
The
a
next
criminal.
part,
Yeah.
the next scene is called the flirting with crime.
Yes.
So he gets his brother's gun.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna go rob the bus, but then it ends
so
up being
good.
that Manega Linya, aka Knockout Ned,
It's so good.
is the bus driver.
He's
and there's
just
a scene
super
with
cool, and he does karate.
he lets one of them in for free.
Yeah, and
He was the best marksman in his barracks.
You're right. Yeah, it's so good, and I love that they're like.
He recognizes them from the favela. That's why he lets one of them off for free.
Right. And they're asking like, do you get into fights?
They
And
ask him, does he fight?
Oh,
Like,
does
so
he
do you
fight?
And
Yes.
he goes, no. He says, I'm for peace and love. And then he says, but if I have to.
Yeah,
And then we get the freeze frame.
Yeah, I love
And
that.
it's like
What a fucking gangster.
we're not
moment.
ready for his story yet.
Yeah.
Another one of those moments. Where
Really
like, It's
good.
not. Yeah. He would have to, but it's not time for that story yet, I think is what he says.
Yeah, and then there's like a crime scene where there's a dead kid.
So they get off the bus, and they're like, we couldn't do it. He was way too cool. And then Stringy also mentions
That's later. My
Stringy
bad.
also mentions, he says, yeah, he's Gerson's brother, who is his brother who we see die later on. And he's like, there's just like a bakery here. And then he's like, Bushkape, what are you gonna say? He's like, I don't know, I'll say it's a holdup or something. That one doesn't work either because he ends up meeting a cute
so
girl.
cute. I love that.
And he's flirting with her, and like she gives him her phone number. She's like, "Come on, call me." Then they leave. Then they get into the car with a guy who's from Sao Paulo, and
And they're
like, "This
thinking of
guy's a
robbing
loser."
him. Yeah.
They're like, "No one cool is from Sao Paulo," which I love the like regional like sort of rivalry there. And then the guy ends up being cool, giving them some weed. And he's like, and then I love this part. Bush Cup is like, "Oh, I've always been so good at rolling joints. If I was as good at rolling joints as I am with women, I would have never lost so many chances
If
to
I
lose
was
my
as
virginity."
good with women as I am with rolling
Yeah,
joints.
as I was
Yeah.
as good with women as I am with rolling joints. And then you see the close up of him. He used the paper with the phone number to roll the joint.
What an idiot.
What an
What an
idiot.
I didn't notice that. I
What
love that.
You didn't notice that? Oh
No.
my god, it's so funny.
I
It's
love
right
that.
as he's saying that too.
That's so good. Brilliant.
And
Yeah, I just what a beautiful way to show why you can't do it. It's just because he's too nice. Like
But before that, we do see them drive past a crime scene, and it's the cops finding a dead woman's body,
okay.
and then there is a baby crying, and they ask about the baby. I think we see this in the next scene. They clarify the
that's
baby's
right.
unharmed, but the lady's dead. It ends up being Blackie's girlfriend,
Right.
which is what we hear.
Right.
Which is what we hear in the next scene, because also the cop says, I think it's Cabezal Melonhead. He says, "Killer has to be from the city of God," and then you see Zay shows up with Blackie to the apartment while like Benny's doing some coke.
Blackie's just a loose cannon, man.
Yeah, he says, "Why do you have to kill your girl in the favela?" And he says, "I had to avenge my honor."
Yeah, so cheated on him, I guess.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, and then Zay's gonna kill fucking Blackie, but Ben is like, "Dude, tell him to just get out of the favela, never come back." And he sends him out the door. And Zay's like, "You're too nice, man." And I love the line that he says, "If you raise snakes, expect to get bitten."
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I noticed.
Pretty good.
Noticed that
And this is
foreshadow.
this is the line where he's like, "I'm gonna go on a walk with my girl," and then Zay is like, "Be careful when things." And then when things calm down, we're gonna get back to this carrot thing. And he's like, "Dude, you need a fucking girlfriend."
Yeah, I like that line.
Very
a lot.
funny. So then we got Benet, Angelica,
Yeah,
talking about their dreams together.
you're so sweet.
Really, it's Angelica's dream, because like when she presents it to Bennett, he's like, "Get out of here." And I mean, you can kind of understand why he has trouble with that, because that's what his brother tried to do, and his brother was shot down.
Yeah, pretty tragic, all of it.
But yeah, they literally say,
he just can't get out.
yeah, he's like, "Where would we get out of here to?" Like because she wants to get away from all the violence. She's tired of it, and
If they just left one day sooner, bro.
yeah, he's
Didn't
like,
have a big party, but he's too cool. He's gotta have a party.
"I love the party. It's great."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Where would he go?" And she says, "A farm." She's like, "We're really hippies at heart,
Yeah.
peace and love and whatnot."
It's just what an enigma of a man. This hippie, basically serial killer.
Yeah, I mean, like reminds me a little bit of like the Brotherhood of Eternal Love, which was like the hippie mafia, the guys who like
yeah.
brought all like the weed and stuff and hash from like the Middle East and Afghanistan
Right.
all the way over here. But I also like, again, just like we could go out to a farm again, just really echoing his brother's sort of like sentiment,
Yeah. Get away from all this chaos. I like the explanation we get for why he leaves. He's just like, he's too cool to be a hood. As simple as that.
Yeah.
His coolness was on par with his hoodness, and then it just kind of skyrocketed. He just got too cool. I guess it was the new digs and the girlfriend.
Yeah. And our introduction to the whole going away party is Zay getting dressed up and leaving his apartment.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a sympathetic party for Zay, except he's also the fucking worst.
Yeah, no, he's pretty bad about it. But yeah, they talk about how Benet gets everyone to come to his going away party. All the subcultures. You got the people who are into soul. You got the groovy kids who seem to be like, they're kind of like the hippies or whatever. And it does, as cringy as it sounds, does remind me. I think that's part of like the vibes I enjoy about this movie. Is that was partially some of the groups I operated in as a teenager, and even maybe in my early 20s, the peace and love and like fucking tie-dye crowd, so
Hell yeah.
there was a part of that where I was like, yeah, these feel like they would be friends I would have had like in high school.
Totally. Yeah. Good vibes. Good music.
Yeah.
Little Z never danced though.
No, never danced in his life.
He gets turned down, and as soon as he gets turned down, like,
The
uh-oh.
way he gets turned on too, he like finally works up the courage. This is like the
Yeah.
moments of sympathy.
Yeah.
Or like he finally works up the courage, and she can't hear him. It makes him say it over and over again, and she's finally like, "Nah, I'm here with someone." So I'm like,
Yeah,
I
it
got a
is
guy.
pretty
Sorry.
soul crushing. I
Yeah.
really don't like him, but yeah, you can't help but relate to this moment. And it's also just so interesting that how little courage he needs to work up to kill someone and how much courage he needs to work up to talk to a girl.
It's wild. I do love those sort of like moments of like he thought that that's what becoming a man was, and like you really realize, or like what maturing is
Right.
about, and then like you realize like he's missed out on so much of what maturity is
what it means
actually
to be
about.
a man,
Yeah, he thinks it's about taking care of himself, or
being the most powerful,
providing for himself in this like
the most alpha.
cutthroat way, but really there's so much more to it, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's a good point.
And I think that's a great lesson throughout the movie.
Yeah,
But-
toxic masculinity, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, though, yeah.
Bushkape and Stringy are in the DJ booth. I thought that was really, really cool, and they look really like they're having a great time up there. And then Jay is trying to convince Bennett to stay. He's like, "You gotta stay, man. I'll give you Carrot's fucking turf if you stay."
Right.
Like, don't fuck with Carrot, dude. He's a good guy, man. But yeah, they kind of get in a big argument over this, and Bennett just walks away with Angelica to go dance.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is
And,
where
well, and he also is like tells him like, "I love you," right about. Or is this after when he
no,
comes?
he says, "I love you, but I'm done. I'm done with your shit."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then after he walks away, Zay sees the girl dance that is there with like knockout Ned. So he points his gun at him.
Yeah, and I guess just we've talked about it a lot already, but like I think this scene really highlights for me the enigma of Benny, and whether or not I think it's actually very well written or not is he, like, in this moment where he's just like, "I'm sick of your shit," I'm just finding myself wondering, like, how do you two get along at all? Like, you have such different temperaments, personality, views on morality. Like, every single thing seems to be kind of opposing here.
I think out of necessity. I think they were forced together, like in a way, like they felt like they needed each other to survive. They had known each other since they were that young, you know?
Yeah.
And I think this is the moment in their lives where Benny realizes, I don't actually need you. Like, I can go do my own thing. Like, there's
Yeah,
something
but
beyond
there's also
this.
this part of him that's just like drawn to this type of power grab because you're saddling up with like the most ambitious person in this city.
Yeah. It's it is very it's interesting. It's
something to think about. I'm not. Yeah, I have like mixed feelings about it. Where I'm like, it's very interesting. I don't know how believable it is, but it's very interesting.
I find it believable.
It's believable enough, but it gets me thinking about it
there's
enough.
Lots of criminals and like people who straight up like kill people who people are like, that person was fun. I loved hanging out with that person. Like it's not like it's completely out of the realm of, and it's also
he's just so warm.
Yeah.
To so many people.
Yeah.
But can so casually like massacre.
Yeah, I mean, we never see him directly participate.
Yeah, but I mean, but he must be, right? Like, he's the right-hand man.
Does he, though? I mean, he's just been grandfathered in. He's been friends with him, like, since they were, like, little kids.
Do you think
he's like his brother almost?
Yeah. But still, you're, like, watching, like, this dude kill all of these people over and over and over and over again.
Yeah. No, it is. It's a great question. I don't think that this movie is super... Like, I think it's a very interesting, like, question to explore.
It almost works more for me, which is kind of in part, maybe that's part of it, is that I look this, like, that him talking about, or someone saying that he's an allegory for this type of person.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he works well within the story, and I like his character.
Yeah.
Great performance.
Yeah.
I think the question that you are asking is one I don't want to say the movie's uninterested in, but I think it is kind of uninterested in it.
I think that's where I'm at. Yeah,
which I think is okay because I think it picks its spots and it like hits it out of the park, like where it does like choose to like tell like
Well, it also kind of works with this kind of tongue-in-cheek comedy tone to the movie, where not everyone has to be the most realistic, fleshed out character.
Yeah, for sure. He's a fun guy. Everybody loves him.
I love him. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's great.
Anyway,
But, but it's like I'm
yeah.
like I love him, but like what
as
the
I was
fuck?
as I was about to say, yeah, I love him. He's great. But then we see Jim makes like Ned strip, right?
Right.
And he says he wants to see his ass
Yeah.
while calling him like slurs, like homophobic slurs, which is just a wild thing to do, you know?
Yeah. What
But
a
hey.
puny little person.
Yeah.
He is.
And then we do see Blackie standing outside the party, like sort of looking on the periphery before he walks in. Knock out Ned, you know, continuing to strip. And then we see Tiago and his friend want to buy Coke from Benet. They want to exchange his camera for it.
That's right.
And Benet says, I don't deal, but Angelica is like, you know what? Bushkape would love this camera. So he ends up making the deal for him. They motion him over. They go to give him the camera. And then in that moment, we see Knockout Ned is completely naked. And we see that Ze sees the camera and he gets upset and goes over, tries to take it. And during this, we also have the shots of Blackie like moving through the crowd unnoticed, all the tension rising, like Benet and Ze fucking struggling over the camera, and then fucking Blackie finally comes up and fucking shoots. And
this is because he took his business. Basically, this is revenge.
I think it is. I think it's revenge for taking his business and for kicking him out when he did his honor killing bullshit. I don't know.
Yeah. Just
some fucking bullshit, fucking gangster shit, dude.
Yeah.
You know,
just some stupid shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and the intense strobe over this too, dude, is fucked up, dude.
There's so much tension, and like the way it's set up with them arguing. So you're like, I couldn't remember. I knew he was gonna die, Benny, but I couldn't remember how. And I thought Lil Z was gonna be the one who like just loses his temper and kills him, doesn't want to let him go. And I love that it subverted that.
No, and it helps fuel.
Yeah.
Like Lil Z's like whole war.
Darkness,
yeah, absolutely. Then you hear Ze yelling out for a fucking doctor. He tells Angelica to get the fuck out of there because it's her fault. You know, fucked up.
Yeah, sucks. Fucking sucks.
Blackie's looking for refuge with Carrot's people.
I love
this part. This is a great
Carrot's
scene
just
here.
like killed the coolest guy in town.
Yep.
Boom.
And then just kills him. Yeah, fuck you, dude. And then
it almost feels
not
like
only this, but like, and then the point is made by Bushkape in the voiceover. He says, Carrot knew only a miracle could save him now that Benny was dead. Because, like,
right.
Blackie killing Benny fucks him over so badly.
Yeah, well, he was already kind of fucked because he's leaving town and he's the only one who is,
Yeah, holding him back.
But yeah, I love that it's just like, it almost feels like it's on principle for killing the coolest guy in town that you have to die.
Yeah, absolutely.
More so than the politics
No,
of
I love it. I love it. He's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to fucking take care of you, dude. Fuck you. And then we see the two gangs mustering to face one another. And in the voiceover, Bushkape says, what a better place for a miracle than a place called the City of God.
Yeah, this is wild. I mean, to call this a miracle...
It is so twisted.
It's very twisted.
It is so twisted, but I think it is meant to be juxtaposition. It's not like, I don't think Bushkape is saying like this is a miracle. He's saying maybe that like,
I think more fate.
That Ze could be overcome, eventually through
just the undoing of this tyrant basically.
Yeah, it's a pretty fucking horrible scene because it is, he runs into the girl again.
First of all, I just want to, because it's happened a couple of times, I think, by now, but I just want to call out these really cool overhead shots where they're all like marching down the street and stuff.
We have the one where he's like taking over all the different like rackets earlier on,
right,
where you see all the dead bodies of the dealers like laying flat on the pavement.
Yeah, it's very striking every time.
Very sick. Again,
you don't see it very often.
Super stylish, I would say. And then I think because of the way the favelas are constructed, like those shots just kind of make sense and they look great,
Yeah.
The overhead walking
such
shots.
Beautiful architecture everywhere too. Like it just looks great, man. Just Great looking
Yeah,
movie.
it's so wild looking too, because it is like thinking about how quickly they constructed all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like over the series of like 10 years, like they turned this area into having like full on like apartment buildings, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, knockout Ned, girl. We get some really
The
brutal sexual assault.
Yeah, it's the J cut into the next scene and then like fading out.
Yeah, it's
Um,
really rough.
it's
I totally forgot that was in there.
Yeah, it's
I was
very
like,
very
damn.
intensely shot as well.
Yeah,
Mostly just like holding on Ned's face on the ground with someone's foot on his head.
brutal.
And we never see anything, but we can hear that his girlfriend is being raped. And we do see the insert shots of the amulet around Zay's neck.
Yeah, so I didn't notice those shots, but I remembered like after the fact I was like, oh, he did fuck a girl, and then like that's when everything. I say fuck. I feel like that doesn't do
No.
justice to
No, yeah.
he raped her. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He fornicated with the amulet on.
Yeah. What a
Forcefully
bastard.
fornicated with the
What
amulet
a
on.
bastard.
Yeah, what a fucking. It's fucking horrible. And I mean. And then you have Ned like silent at the like dinner table, like inconsolable. And when he finally speaks, he says that he can't look at her anymore.
Yeah, and what shocked me so much about this moment, I mentioned it near the beginning, is then he's like, "Why didn't he kill me?" And he
Yeah.
says it in such a like deep, like emotional way, and then it gets to little Z, and he's just like, "Why not kill that guy?" It's just so funny. Like
Very stylish, very cool. I like it. I think it's really well
it's
done.
amazing, but like
But
to be able to
it is such a
insert
fucking like U-turn. Yeah,
to be able to do that so perfectly, like
Yeah.
it feels
It's
like
pitch
it didn't-
perfect.
Yeah, pitch perfect. Yeah,
on the tone, it is just
extremely
like,
impressive.
the tone
yeah.
is dancing on a nice edge,
Yeah.
and it's like executing to the nth degree here.
Yeah.
And then yeah, he stops in his tracks and turns around, and they go back there like, "What about Carrot?" He's like, "We'll deal with that later." And then at Ned's house, he's yelling for Ned to come out. Zay is, but ultimately he gets held back by his like family and his brother Gerson, who was mentioned earlier. Remember, I said,
What a hero and a fool.
yeah, he goes
What
out there
would
with a
you-
knife. Yeah,
You're kind of like ready to die, but you're dying defending your whole family. Like
yeah, yes,
pretty awesome and pretty dumb at the same time.
yeah. He thinks he sees an opening and he tries to stab Zay, but he gets fucking shot down. And then they like full on like just start firing into the house, and they kill his uncle, who's like sitting in like a chair as well.
Yeah.
And
I
then
mean,
the tragic
yeah.
scene of them like going outside and the mother inconsolable, like, my son.
I love the way Carrot just walks up and he's like, "Here's a gun."
Well, he
That's
goes-
basically the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah. So he says, "Do you want?" He says, "Do you want a gun?"
That's
And
it.
like
That's-
just like hands him the gun.
walks up, gives him a gun, starts a war.
And then again with the whole like the pickled ginger of it all, the like, we're having these very like deep, flavorful, hard to process moments followed by these like light, very like almost like airy, again like comedic moments where
Yeah.
Tuba's like, "Look, we're like basically the same. Like, look, you and me, like the same on the arm." And then again, just colliding into like the like dark reality of it all with him just like fucking casually turning and fucking shooting him. Like killing him, right?
Yep.
The whole time he's been telling him to shut the fuck up, and then finally, boom.
Yeah, and I saw this trivia, a little bit of trivia blew my fucking mind. So after Knockout Ned walks up on them and blasts them, the first woman that approaches Knockout Ned in this scene is the real mother of Chicken Manny.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Crazy.
wild.
Yeah.
the-
Mané galinha.
And it's also like extremely wild because I think her line is like, "Good job," basically, like you did so well. So it's like her telling her son like, damn.
Oh, you mean when this next part when Ned pops up and starts shooting
Yeah.
at all of his guys?
Yeah, I thought you had kind of passed through that part because Tuba gets killed after.
Oh yeah. What
well-
happens is Tuba's he's treating Zay's cut on his arm, and then Ned walks up shooting. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
because
then
the
they
reason
get
he
away.
kills him is
Yeah.
Tuba is just like,
Talking
man,
about how
he was
they have
kind of
this-
badass, wasn't he?
I think it's also he's just like not shutting up. I think.
Well,
He's
yeah,
like,
it's that, but also like we just got our asses kicked by that really cool, handsome guy.
Yeah. And then I think immediately after him getting shot is the citizens thanking him. That's wild that it's that woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she says he was asking for it. You should probably go hide.
Yeah, is that wild? Like,
Yeah, it is
wow.
pretty wild. We see Tiago's looking to score. He's asking Filet, where the dealers are at. They're all hiding though because Zay's pissed. But Tiago asks Steak to go see if he can get him some. And then we just see Zay's crew all waiting.
And I think something I noticed by the end, and it's really well like just subtle, is I think we slowly see Tiago like just by the way he looks, getting
Oh yeah,
more and more addicted.
yeah. No, he looking sweatier and like just
Eventually,
like
just like big bags under his
yeah.
eyes
He
and all
does not
that.
look
Yeah,
great.
just good visual, subtle storytelling.
Yeah, good stuff.
And it's just like again, like how many things they're fucking juggling here.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
insane.
Putting a lot of care into all of it.
Yeah.
And we have Zeb pacing, and then he like calls Steak in, and he's like, "All right, go tell Carrot." And I love one of these. And then you cut to Steak telling Carrot, and he's telling him if he takes care of Knockout Ned, Zeb will leave him alone. Of course, Ned is there with him, and then Steak tries to run off, and we get the split screen thing again.
Yeah.
And this is very cool because we see him getting caught
Yeah.
while Ned and Carrot are having this conversation about like Carrot's like, "You should join us," and Ned's finally like, "Okay, yeah."
But
I'll
no
join you
innocent
guys.
people.
Yeah, we're not gonna kill
And
anyone innocent.
I think the way Carrot acts this moment is so excellent because there's almost this like, yeah, sure, but also like, no, absolutely,
And he's
yeah.
like, yeah, no innocent people, no innocent people.
I think there's a very subtle little performance he does there.
Yeah, and then Carrot's like, all right, so if we're gonna get more guns, we could just like, well, he shows him what guns they have, and he's like, can we get more? And he's like, we'll just hold up like, just stick up a gun store. And he's like, I don't want to do that. I'm not a hoodlum. And then Carrot is like, all right, so they killed your brother, they killed your uncle, they were like raped your girlfriend, and you killed one of their guys. If you're not a hoodlum, and then he
Yeah.
shows him the door, right?
And so apparently this, from what I could find, again, there's like it's hard to actually gather information on all these people. Like this did start because he raped his girlfriend. Which is fucking crazy. Like, an entire gang war, like over just one horrible act of cruelty.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure it happens over things like yeah. I mean, I don't know, but then we have the another title. We have the story of Knockout Ned, and we see these three scenes where we have the holding up of the gun store, and Ned saves a guy from getting killed by Carrot because he's like, no innocent people. Then they rob a grocery store. Carrot shoots a guy that almost shoots Ned, and they say every rule has its exception.
Yeah, I love
And then
this.
they rob a bank, and the third time the exception becomes the rule. And Ned shoots a guard going to pull out his gun. And this is the first scene where we see Otto. We don't know who Otto is
Right.
yet, but he'll come back into play later on.
Yeah.
And then we see Ned and Carrot buying guns from this guy who they call Uncle Sam, which I think is a great name for an arms dealer.
Yeah, I missed that actually. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
They call him Chio Sam.
That's great. Yeah, and the war's on, basically.
I do love how you see the like gang members praying, and then there's like the montage of people shooting at each other, and then you hear Buscapé say, "Hoodlums have guns, but they can't shoot."
Oh.
One of Ned's bullets was worth 10 of Zez.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, he's a badass. I believe this is the scene they were talking about in the trivia. They mentioned they're doing this like praying song. Is that this scene? And apparently that was one of the kids who was in a gang, like one of the actors who was in a gang who was like, yeah, we should do this. That's what we always do. And so like that wasn't scripted or anything.
That's sick. That's dope. Yeah, that makes sense.
Wild.
Yeah, and this is where he says the line, because he says the favela had been a purgatory, now it was hell.
Yeah.
We've got Buscapé being woken up by a bullet, and now we see that he says he wants to be a reporter,
Yeah.
and he starts as a newspaper boy. He says
Yeah.
like many careers, I start at the bottom.
Yeah. Works his way up.
And then you see that his friend Pierre, this guy from the City of God,
Mhm.
he'll let him check out the pictures,
Yeah.
And you see that he's a fan of this one guy. I can't remember. I think his name's Rogerio.
Yeah. He seems cool.
Rogerio, probably.
He's just always being a buddy.
Yeah, he like helps him get his film developed later
Yeah.
on. It's very dope.
Um.
And then we do have the awesome line about what could have been a swift and localized revenge turned into an all-out war.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I think this part's pretty accurate. Just years of war.
They're saying that you can't they're saying you can't cross the cities, not even to see like
Right.
your relatives.
We also got the cops treating everyone as hoodlums, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
Yeah, they're treating everyone from the favela as if they're part of one of the gangs, you know?
Sucks.
Yeah.
And we also see, both sides making moves. Tiago joins Z.
Yeah, more and more people signing up for the
Steak
war.
joins Carrot. I think it's Steak.
No.
No?
No. Steak is still with
Is it Otto then? Who is
yeah, that's Otto. Yeah, Steak is still with Zé. But yeah, we see Tiago's showing up to get a job from Zé, and then yeah, Otto says he wants to join Carrot to avenge his father's death, which is very interestingly worded, right?
Right.
Because it's a funny thing to think about how like no one's like it's interesting to like I was like, oh man, one of the runs could have done something like this, like, and immediately just got in the gun and like shot him like that. But I guess like yeah, Otto wants to slow roll it. But it is very interesting how indiscriminate they are being about it, even though they're like killing people everywhere, right?
Right.
And I love how Ned's like, no, don't give him a gun when Otto shows up. But Carrot insists. He's like, cause Ned's like, he's clearly a worker, and Carrot's like, he wants a gun, man. So they give him the gun.
War.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think they just say it's been a couple years, but
They say a year later, no one remembered how
Okay.
it began. And this is apparently 1981 is supposed to be
okay.
the year at this point. And they're just talking about how each side wants more and more, right?
Yeah. And I think
In this part, you see Steak dead on the ground.
right.
Because you hear him saying, doing the voiceover from earlier when they caught him, I smoke. Because Ned's like, why aren't you like studying? Why are you hanging out with these people? It's like, and he keeps calling him kid. And he's like, kid, I smoke. I drink. I've I've robbed. I've killed. He's like, I'm a man, and they all
Yeah.
like laugh at him. And yeah, he sees him dead there. And then that's where, in hiding, we can't see it's Otto yet, but some like small figure shoots Ned right there.
Right. Yeah, and it's a nice little thread that he keeps mourning all these kids, and like he really didn't want it to go this far, and like there is a lot of humanity in him,
Yeah, for sure.
And also love the Molotov cocktails.
Yeah, Molotov cocktails. But yeah, they say that that you hear the thing on the news too that the gang leader has been arrested, and you see Ned on the news,
Yeah.
like in custody at the hospital. He's being interviewed, and you see Bushkapez like watching the TV, and he says that the cops only go after him, and also mentions that mostly innocent people have died. Which is a very like interesting like specific note to make when
Yeah,
you're one of the
'cause
people
he feels so
perpetuating the
guilty.
violence. Yeah.
Yeah. And he also points out like, oh, the cops seem to be coming after me. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I don't know if he actually suspects that Lil Z's working with the cops.
I think he absolutely does.
I don't. Why doesn't he just say it then?
Maybe he's scared of
the cops.
of the retaliation,
Yeah.
and he wants to be kind of cheeky about it.
Yeah. Just
I
figured that's your chance to maybe hurt your
yeah,
enemy's
for sure.
ally.
Yeah, absolutely. I also think it's interesting. We don't really see like Jay doing that many drugs like throughout the movie
No,
up until
he's
this
all
point.
business. Yeah.
At this point, now we see him doing a bunch of
That's
coke.
right. Yeah.
And he's having his boys
point.
scour the newspapers for mentions of him, and we see that he's jealous that Ned got his picture in the paper.
So stupid.
And this is where he finds that camera again, right? And that's where
Yeah.
he gets the idea. All right, take pictures of me. And nobody knows how to work the camera, including Tiago. But Tiago immediately thinks of Bushkapé, so he runs off and gets him. And I love how you get Bushkapé directing the photo shoot to the point where they have to be like, "Hey man, be nice." They say to him at one point, it's fucking funny, dude. I love that. Like he just gets so in the zone.
Yeah, it's really good. And I love that again, just like a small moment of humanity for Lil Z. It seems like he's kind of like the reason he gives the camera to him is in memory of
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Benny.
it sucks how it all went down, but he does say to him, "Yeah, Benny wanted you to have this, right?" Which is funny because he has to like be told his name again. You killed his older brother. Like I kind of feel like you know his name. Like
He's killed a lot of people.
he has killed a lot of people.
It might just be something he doesn't even think about.
Yeah, perhaps you're right. But I feel like it felt kind of like a small community in the beginning of the movie,
Yeah.
and they were both part of it. So it felt like I feel like you kind of like to big dog him a little bit maybe, but who knows, right?
Yeah,
Whatever.
I don't know. I mean, he's so
Yeah,
fucked.
yeah.
It's hard to know what's up with him.
But Bushka Pitt takes the film to Pierre to get it developed. He also gets a fat stack of money from Ze, and he's like, I could get in trouble. It's only for the reporters. But that's when Rogerio comes in and notices, what's going on. He throws Bushka Pitt's film in with him, and they're like, all right, let's fucking go, dude.
Yeah.
And then I love the next scene again. One of those just like the room. We just have the camera in one spot.
Yeah.
Fade to like him starting to develop the film. Fade to her grabbing the pictures off the desk.
Yeah, what's so interesting is I feel annoyed by her a lot when she does that, and then her response is very just like, "There's pictures here, and I'm a journalist. Like that's my job. This is where we develop the photos."
Yeah, it makes sense. Like when she says it,
Yeah.
when they calm down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he sees it on the front page when he's delivering papers. He's like, I'm in fucking trouble, dude, and immediately just storms in, starts arguing with her, and they're like, man, if you can get these more pictures for us, dude, we could pay you. And he ultimately,
And they give him money right there too.
yeah.
So he got paid twice for these photos.
Yeah, so he's thinking about it. And then we see Zé telling Tiago how much he loves the pictures, and he's stoked that they're on the front page. And
It's
he's
really
like,
funny.
he says, now they know who the boss is. And then it cuts back to Bushka Pitt, and he's like, okay, I'll do it, but I need to know where I'm going to sleep tonight. Then you see Rogerio gives him another camera and a lens, and then ultimately Marina, the lady who used his pictures, takes him home with her, and there is this whole thing about like, oh, you don't eat, you don't drink, you don't smoke. They end up getting stoned, and then we have the thing that we've talked about with the hot water. And then she said, and he's like, "Where's my room?" And she's like, "There's only one. You're gonna have to share with me."
Extremely forward. I wonder how much of this is just like Brazilian culture. I mean, it could definitely happen. I just feel like to like be working with someone and just be like, "Oh, you don't have anywhere to stay? Yeah, come to my place. We can screw. I have a bed."
Yeah, yeah. Also, I mean, he was 18. I wonder how old she was. Well, he's probably more than 18 at this point, because it's been like, yeah, who knows? But whatever.
Yeah,
maybe a little power dynamic at work.
Yeah,
you know?
it's interesting. Like, it's such an important moment for this character, and yet it's just like such a small little thing.
Well, he says it as like he kind of does the whole like a gentleman never tells thing. He's like, I'm not gonna like go in depth about my first sexual experience, right? It is funny that later on he says to his friend, "I don't think journalists know how to fuck."
Yeah, I thought that was really funny too.
Yeah. We see Carrot breaking Ned out by having the nurse seduce the police officer that's standing guard.
Hilarious, but also like this is one of the two main like leaders of this gang war, and you have a single guard. What the fuck, man?
Yeah, well, budget.
What do you guys do around here?
Budgets, dude, budgets. You obviously don't understand budgeting. And then we see that Zé is buying guns from Uncle Sam, but he tells him, he wants like an AR-15. He's like, I can't get that for you. And he's like, all right, get the fuck out. Leave without the gun. Yeah, I'm taking everything. Yeah, I'm leave the guns and the money.
Like, even without knowing where it was going, like not remembering how this plays out, I'm like, that's so fucking stupid to like. You think you think you can just screw all of these people over without it coming?
The
and this is a
voiceover
gun
even
dealer.
says it. The voiceover even says it. He's like, Zed didn't really understand how like suppliers worked or something like that. Something kind of like commenting on the fact that he like doesn't get that he's gonna get in trouble. And then you see that Uncle Sam meets up with Melonhead, who's the cop.
Well, even outside of that though, it's like it's like fucking with the bank. Like, okay, well now they're gonna fund your enemy. You fool. Like, you don't. This is the last person you want. The person who's giving out all the guns is the one you rob.
Yeah, just for this one like come up,
Really dumb.
Yeah, it's very short term.
He's slipped ever since he fornicated. It's really slipped.
I mean, he's doing a bunch of blow too, dude. He's like not like thinking straight,
That's a good point. Yeah.
But yeah, Melonhead ends up killing Uncle Sam.
Yeah, I saw that coming.
Yeah.
As soon as he's like, "Come back here," I'm like, "Oh, no, you're gonna die."
And then see
he was also a fool. The way he said that, he's like, "I'll try my best not to get you in trouble." And I think he's trying to leverage his power here. It's like, dude, you have no power here.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
And then we see Zay is giving the Runt some guns because he wants to help you guys can help me against Carrot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're at the beginning, and it's titled "The Beginning of the End."
Fitting.
We get those close shots of the knife being sharpened again. And yeah, same fucking beats we hit at the very beginning where we're watching the whole chicken eating celebration going down, them chasing the loose chicken through.
Yeah, just a fun way to structure a movie. Showing them the end at the beginning.
Yeah, in media res, as we say. And then Bushkape is there in the middle, and Melonhead shows up, but and so he's caught between the cops and then like Zay's crew, but ultimately the cops leave, and then they're like, ha ha ha, take a picture of us. And right as he goes to take the picture, one of Zay's boys gets shot by Ned coming around the fucking corner.
Yeah.
And then the shootout fucking starts. You see Carrot and all his guys show up, and it starts in earnest.
And just a real comeuppance for our hero, Rocket. Gets the front row to 1 million pictures.
Yeah, you just see him taking pictures throughout this whole scene. You also see Carrot. You see Tiago and Zay end up stealing the gas truck, and they like crash it, and then I think
Tiago gets shot by Ned, right?
Yeah, well, they crash it, and then they're like right in front of like Ned, and that's when Zay shoots Otto, and then Ned shoots fucking Tiago, but he kills Tiago, and then we ultimately see fucking I think
Otto's origin, who his father was, killed by Ned, and then
he was
Ned,
the son
again,
of the guard. Yeah,
him being so sweet here,
and we see him at the bank the day his dad gets like holding his dad's body, and you see that kid in the earlier shot. You see him looking at Ned,
I love that,
and Ned just kind of like looks away, and Ned never recognizes him.
Yeah, there's part of me, like there's so much I love about this movie. There's part of me that wonders in a scene like during this sequence where just like it's almost like a little too neat, like everything is just all coming together at once, and it makes sense, but
feels a little sort of like
contrived,
Shakespearean or theatrical.
That's the thing. The more I lean out of the realism and into the allegorical, like the more this.
Yeah, I think it's because
works.
it does such a good job at delivering on realism for so much other elements of the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, Otto's the one who like shot him, as we saw. But anyway, Otto shoots Ned as he's turning away to go, because Carrot's like, he's saying Lil Z's been hit, and then like Ned goes to run off, gets shot by Otto.
Yeah, and like Ned was just like, don't worry, I'll come back and take care of you.
Yeah.
Being such a sweetheart.
Yeah.
He has a soft spot for kids, but gets capped.
Yeah. And we see all the dead bodies on the streets. We see Tiago's dead, Otto's dead, Ned. Carrot surrenders, Zay gets arrested, and the whole time Bushkape just taking pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like him and Stringy like look at each other as they walk out onto like the sort of like what's left of like the whole carnage, and then Bushkape is like, I have to go clear something up, and he runs after the cop car.
Yeah, I thought that was I guess he was just like, this is a good chance to get even more photos. I feel like you already won the lottery here. This might be an Icarus moment.
No, and it kind of feels like it when there's this moment where, anyway, they have Carrot and Zed in the back of the car. They tell Zed to get out, and then you see Bushkape get set up at the apartment, right? But they leave Carrot behind as well. I think they're like, no, you're for the media, they say, or something like that.
Right.
And then so we see that basically like Zay has enough money, so they're gonna leave him alive. Melonhead expects even more money later on, and Zay's fucking pissed. He's like, feels like he's had everything taken from him.
Yeah. And again, like, I do love this comeuppance for little Zay, but
it's really good.
It's another kind of just like everything happening right at once, right back to back, and like. But I do like that, like, he gave them the guns that day, I think, and they were just planning on killing him.
He gave them to them, earlier, right before they started fucking with the chickens. There's like the shots of all the older boys. He's like, hey, teach them how to use the guns, right? But yeah, they're like, he's like, I need help like getting my business back off the ground, and they're like, your business, and then they fucking like, this is for our fucking friend Filo da puta.
Yeah. And this is the friend that the kid State killed.
Yeah, the kid that State killed earlier on.
That's what I assumed, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very poetic death there is a part of me that's like a little unsatisfied by it, just because he's such a bastard that you want this more cathartic. So it's interesting, right? It's both more realistic that it's just like some kids who kill him, but
Yeah.
also like not super realistic, but it just
The
through the orders
confluence of
of
events.
of events. Yeah,
I think it's meant to feel again the fatalism of like you're
Yeah.
caught in the cycle of violence. I love it. I love that. I love because it makes you think about those things. Like
Yeah.
makes you ask yourself like should it be
That's-
more grandiose? Should it be less? And I think it's kind of perfect in the way it's
very
executed.
poetic. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, Buscapé gets a picture of everything. He even walks up and gets a picture of Zez's dead body. And you see him reviewing the pictures and he says, "This one will get me a job. This one will make me famous.
Yeah.
And I don't have to worry about Zed anymore." But then he says, "What about the cops? Because this is fucking insane. He's got this fucking picture of like corruption." But again, this is a city where corruption is probably rampant, right? Scary, right? To think about.
Absolutely.
But then you see Zez's pictures on the cover. Second picture on the cover, dude. I also love how earlier in the movie, like, man, you want to be a photographer? Great place to start. Front page, dude.
Yeah. It's a good line. Yeah, and this is where we get he's with his buddy. Journalists don't know how to screw.
Yeah, he's got a little internship too. He's making a little money.
Yeah, everything's worked out, man. The
Yeah.
long game, doing it the right way, you know?
Yeah, and then we follow the fucking runts, and they're hilarious. It's like, who knows how to write? Me, sort of. We'll make a blacklist because they're just talking about who to kill,
Yeah,
who they want to
dude.
kill.
This very The Wire. I don't know. I'm not sure if you ever finished that show, but just like
No, I absolutely did.
the passing of the
Yeah,
torch
they hand
from
off,
one
yeah.
generation to the next.
Absolutely.
Very haunting.
Yeah, I also just love the kid, the tiny kid who's like straggling behind. They call him Gigante, which means giant. And I thought that was fucking hilarious. The nicknames are so good.
Random trivia fact: when he kicked his shoe off, that wasn't scripted. but
Yeah, I
they
believe
liked
it.
Yeah.
I believe that, yeah, for sure. And then he says, by the way, this is based on a true story. And he says, "I'm not Buscapé anymore. I'm Wilson Rodriguez. I'm a photographer." Then we see the credits, and we see the picture of like a picture of the actual like person like Zay is based off of,
Right.
and you even see the Mané Galinha sort of like footage from the news as well.
That blew my mind. I'd forgotten that was there.
Yeah.
That's so cool to see.
And then
that.
you also hear at the very end, you hear a little bit of Seu Jorge singing a little bit.
Yeah. Great movie, man.
Great movie.
Amazing movie. Masterpiece. I agree. It is a masterpiece. I definitely have my nitpicks with it, but I don't think that holds it back
Yeah.
for me from being an S tier.
Masterpiece, S tier. I love it. It's a really, really good movie.
Yeah, I
Um,
think the only hesitation, and I did have some hesitation between A or S tier for me, is that it's almost too much. Where it's like I'm struggling to be emotionally invested in a lot of it because it's like so much happening so quickly. It's almost like I want like the novel version or like a series version. But like for what it's doing, it's insane.
Yeah, I like the pacing, and I think it does things like with the like up down of it all, and like talking about the sort of like pickled ginger, the little fucking palate cleansers that are put throughout. I think it does a good job working with the speed, and I think
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons I enjoy the movie and find it to be somewhat maybe cozy is because of that like pace, maybe a little bit like because it is this like sort of like fun like pacing and editing, even though like the subject matter is very like sometimes really horrifying, but a lot of it is like so very like deep and like asking some really great questions.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's less of a pacing complaint and more of a because
So
we're
much shit is crammed in there.
because of that we're like I didn't feel like a super strong emotional investment to these individual characters like I do with other S tiers.
Yeah, for sure. With Buscapé, I feel like he's just kind of an easy dude to step into.
I like him.
Sensitive, sensitive kid
Yeah.
wants to be a photographer.
I'm rooting for
Likes
him.
music, is good at like rolling joints. Like that sounds like me. Like I'm right there.
Yeah, I like all the characters, but
It
it
is
doesn't
kind
doesn't like
But see
grab
the
my
thing
heart,
again. It is
I
like an
guess.
epic. Like it is kind of like an Odyssey type thing. It is
Yeah.
like this thing that happens over. Like it's a saga in a way.
Yeah,
like,
but
it
I
is
feel
a-
like in other sagas you usually have like a main character you're following, and this is mostly other characters, like a bunch of vignettes basically.
Sure. I do feel like it is like sort of like the like mythology of the city of God, the mythology of the
Yeah.
favela,
Yeah.
which I vibe with.
Absolutely. And, that's why I still give it an S tier. It's just my only hesitation when I compare it to my other S tiers.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Like I enjoy how much shit is crammed in there. I like that it's
I'm
I like
ex-
that there's a lot.
yeah, and I'm excited to rewatch it without having to take notes cuz
Yeah,
that was tough. That
yeah,
was
for
tough.
sure.
There was so much to write down.
Yeah, there's a lot there. Great fucking movie.
Amazing.
So we're gonna bring this back. We're gonna do our rankings of most coming of age movies.
Yeah, which is interesting. I'm kind of torn because my
I'll give you mine right off the rip. Are you
City of
ready?
God.
Oh, I'm gonna go from the bottom up.
Okay, we're doing all four. Okay, that makes it
Are you
tougher.
ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Stand by Me,
Uh-huh.
Boys in the Hood, Perks of Being a Wallflower, City of God. Maybe actually. Oof. Okay, no. I'm gonna change it. Maybe a little bit. I'm just letting my tier ranking interfere. I think it might honestly be City of God, Perks of Being a Wallflower. Like Perks of Being a Wallflower, number one.
That's kind of where I was leaning actually because it feels like this is like City of God is more of a thriller gangster movie that is also a coming of age story, and like Perks of Being a Wallflower is like the most coming of age teenage drama you could possibly pack into.
I forgot to mention this, but I kept thinking while I was watching, I was like, oh, City of God is Boys in the Hood plus Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Yeah, and I don't know. Stand by Me also just
Stand by Me's got its charm, dude.
it feels extremely coming of age, like time capsule to me, and I'd probably even more than I feel like Boys in the Hood feels like it's tackling a lot more political commentary and has more things to say about like society and violence.
I think it has a lot more to say about what it means to be like quote unquote a man or an adult.
That's an interesting point too. That's a good point.
I think that's the strength of it, is the emotional intelligence it has, like the relationship between Furious and oh my god, is his name Trey? No.
Sounds right.
Oh my god, dude. That's bad.
I don't know. Yeah, I think Trey, right?
I think so. I'm not sure.
But
yeah, Trey Styles. Yes.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. It's almost like the Stand by Me feels like a more focused coming of age story. In just that it is this one small adventure that encapsulates your childhood versus something like Boys in the Hood that's
I feel like it
trying to capture like so much commentary.
It feels like a more like focused story, but not like, I feel like Boys in the Hood, I feel more of the coming of age, but I will cede that Stand By Me feels like a more focused story, whereas Boys in the Hood has more things it's trying to touch on, but I think there's more of a coming of age like nugget that I take from it. But anyway, what are your four? Let's start at number 4.
Well, that's what I was just deciding because it's either Stand By Me or Boys in the Hood. I think I'm gonna go with Boys in the Hood number 4.
Okay.
Not that I think it's the worst
No,
of the
not at
4
all.
movies, but
They all fit the category.
yeah. And then Stand By Me, City of God, Perks of Being a Wallflower.
I mean, I put my favorite movie second. That, of course, it doesn't have to do with how good they are. It's more of how much they fit.
Sure. It just
fit the
always feels
mold.
bad to put something in last place.
Yeah, I mean, it's fourth amongst hundreds of movies, really. Like, I mean, if we were doing more movies, it would sit higher, right?
yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
and I understand that. Everyone understands that. People are gonna come for your throat for doing that.
Hell yeah, don't come for me. Don't at me, or maybe at me. Comment down below, you fuckers.
Comment down below, you fuckers, is great. I love that. All right, so today is the last episode of January, which you know what that means. Because we're spinning the freaky deaky fucking wheel, my
yeah, I'm
friends.
so excited. I've been wondering all month what's next.
You've been wondering all month what's coming. We've got a category spinner majigger here. I'm going to show Connor so he can participate in watching.
Oh my gosh.
Here we go. I am going to click the button because Connor clicked it at the end of December.
Great.
So I'm going to click it this time. Just to reiterate, these are the categories right now. Should we alternate? I'll take half, you take the other half. Even if I'll do 4, you'll do 5.
Okay.
So we've got,
Where you starting?
well, you'll find out right now. We've got When Are We? I'm Gonna Get You, Battle Royale, and Kung Fu.
Then Private Dick, Not for Kids, Happiness in a Day.
Happens in a day.
Happiness, yeah, happens in a day. What?
It was all a dream.
It was all a dream, and
Trapped.
trapped. Yeah.
Connor's bad at reading upside down.
Yeah.
Connor maybe needs glasses.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. We're spinning. There we go. The needle was on Battle Royale initially when it started. And here we go. She's spinning. Ooh.
Oh,
the category
yeah.
from last year, Trapped.
Yeah, we were both very excited for this one. This is going to be a fun month.
You probably heard in the audio of when Trapped didn't get picked, I say, I really wanted Trapped. And
Yeah.
Connor says, well, we could just do it. And I was like, no, dude, we have to do what the wheel commands. So with Trapped, we're going to be starting with Castaway.
Yeah, very excited for that. Great movie. You haven't seen that one, right?
No, never seen it. I know his wife gets remarried, I think, at the end. Spoilers. Spoilers.
It's great.
Yeah. But let's see. Let's see.
First Tom Hanks movie?
First Tom Hanks
I
movie.
think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. I guess. Yeah, probably.
Love
probably.
Tom Hanks.
Dude. Tom Hanks, dude. He's
American Treasure.
an American treasure. An American treasure. But yeah, that's it. Speaking of American treasures, like, comment, subscribe. We'll read some comments next week if we have more. I don't see any on last week's videos. Yeah, there's some comments back on the Lord of the Rings videos, but that was last year. We're over last year. It's this year now. Also, next episode is gonna be our 52nd episode, which constitutes roughly a year's worth of weeks.
Wow.
I'll look it up right now. I'll tell you when we had our first episode. Would you like to know? Well, can you guess what the exact date is? Do you know?
I want to say it was February 7th.
That's your guess.
That's my guess.
And you are correct, my friend.
Hell
February
yeah.
7th. So that means next week's episode is coming out like the 6th, I think. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Um,
Something like that.
yeah, the 6th. So, dude, we'll have a little woo woo when we'll do a little celebration at the end there.
Yeah, that's
Sing a
awesome,
little song.
man. A full year.
Yeah.
Of Cinema Forecast coming at you.
I'm really excited for Trapped. I think it's gonna be such a fun category.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
Yeah, and as y'all may have noticed, we're trying to, I think, really lean in more to those like the themes, and
Yeah.
I feel like we did a pretty good job this month, and I feel like one of the things that really felt key throughout the month was the loss of innocence, right?
Yeah.
Loss of innocence was huge part. Community played to varying degrees, like friendship. I think I like that about like stories about like kids as well, is like there's always a lot of big focus on friends, right?
Yeah.
Always a very important part of the story.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, nostalgia, of course.
Yeah.
Like struggle of morality, yes, but I feel like that's kind of a lame theme in hindsight because you could just put that on anything.
Right. The struggle of morality is the loss of innocence. That's what makes it interesting,
Yeah,
right?
that's a good point.
I also thought, talking about sex a lot, like that comes up in these stories. They
A lot of
always
sex,
do.
yeah.
I mean, even in Stand By Me, they talk about one of the girls getting on TV, I think from like the Mickey Mouse Club or whatever, getting boobs or whatever.
I don't remember.
Yeah, that's part of it. They talk about it at the scrapyard, but in the junkyard or whatever. So it's interesting to see that. I mean, it makes sense.
Totally makes sense. I
Yeah.
mean, that's like
part of growing up.
priority number one for teenagers.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of like part of like the definition of growing up too,
Yeah.
is like sexual maturity and intellectual maturity, of course.
I mean, it's kind of what marks that. Like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
starting to have feelings for
Yeah.
for people.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there you go. That was sick, dude. This was a battle today. It wasn't truly a battle, but Connor got a flat tire on the way over.
Yeah, I did. It sucked.
Yeah,
Really sucked.
but he was close enough that I was able to go out there and lend a little elbow grease.
Yeah. Thank you to our host Alfredo.
Yeah, for sure. And this is I'm gonna mention this just because it's kind of, I don't know. Timely is a weird way to say it, but we were talking a lot about like grandmother's somewhat recently, and this week my step grandmother, who I was always very close with and who I love very much, who always felt like my traditional conception of a grandmother, she passed away, and I was able to take time off work and spend the day with my family, but it hurts a lot, and I loved her a lot, and she helped inform the person I am today. So I just want to say, I want to dedicate this episode to my abuela Pepa. So thank you all so much for listening. Be kind to each other. Tell people you love them, and embrace the moment
That's
whenever you
right.
can,
That's right.
and choose love, man.
Choose love.
I love y'all.
Thanks, guys.